live. Let's just see. I did send you the links, Recon. I wonder. Oh, actually, does Vincent have the links to that too? I think he does. Maybe not. Okay, I think we should be live and we should be good to go. Yeah, we should be good to go. Okay, yeah. I think we are. What's up, chat? What's up? Perfect, yeah. Excited chats. All right, they're there. All right, we're both live on Twitch and we are live on YouTube. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? How you guys doing tonight? I know today's, I know it's a very late night. I understand that, everyone. But we are here with a very prominent individual, absolutely, in the animation, in the animation of so many different scenes. And we just had, I know people have been dying to get it on for a call, and I'm with my boy King Recon. But we'll let chat kind of you know, build up for a second or two, so people are like they're getting the notifications now and everything like that. But it's good to have Vincent here, absolutely. Just give me 1 second. I'll make sure everything's okay with both chats, and then we'll start talking about One Piece and talk about whatever we want to talk about. But Vincent, go ahead, say hi to the chats, man. They're here for you.
Sorry. I was. Well, hello everyone. I'm Vincent Chansard. I'm an animator on, for example, but not limited to One Piece. And hello, good evening. I hope everyone is doing great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
And of course, everyone, shout out King Recon. You guys know him, the man, the myth, the legend, the peak fiction, no doubt.
Shout out. Much love to Cole. Much love to the chat. Much love to Vincent. Excited for a good chat here.
Perfect. Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Let me just do one last check. I just make sure that everything's okay, so we're not like, you know, on the fritz. I'm doing a lot of different checks. I know. But even in real time, we just gotta make sure everything's cool. Okay. Now we're good to go. Yo, what's up? Okay. Yes, Recon is on his bed. The classic. It's classic Recon. It's classic Recon.
It's classic.
It's classic, all right? There's no two cents about it. All right. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So I'm just one more time because obviously he doesn't need too much of an introduction. But for all the chats that are watching right now, on Twitch and on YouTube, if you guys don't know who Vincent Chansard is the mind behind some of the greatest animated scenes for particularly One Piece. Obviously, we're talking a little bit of glaze, just a small amount of glaze.
We got a glaze. We're
talking about.
I will tolerate a bit of glaze.
Yeah, a bit. So everyone remembers the amazing moment between King Wildfire versus Zoro in episode 1062. That's Vincent Chansard for the most part's work. Everyone remembers the stuff with the Rob Lucci versus Luffy, where Rob Lucci had that amazing transformation scene. That was also the work of Vincent Chansard for the most part. You have obviously, as of late, a lot of the great scenes with the Five Elders. We have the when they first introduced all of them in their totality. That was an amazing scene. Also, Vincent Chansard. And obviously, who can forget the Gear 5 transformation for the first time animated on episodes weekly. That was also the work of Vincent Chansard. So Vincent has done some incredible things, and people, they love you. They love you for that. One Piece fans love you tremendously. There's also done work for JJK. Also done work for, I believe, even Primal, way back when. He's also done some work for, or has done like a little snippets here and there for My Hero Academia. I remember seeing a Suyu clip that you did way back when, like you know, like at least maybe some fan stuff there. But you know, he's done some incredible work that everyone is aware of, obviously. So I don't go too much into the glaze here. Vincent Chansard he's one of the GOATs. That's obvious. He's one of the GOATs. So he's here today to answer some questions. No doubt about that. And ReZero2, right? ReZero2. There it is. All right.
And Boruto. A lot of stuff.
Yes, Boruto as well too. Yes. We were talking earlier. Yeah, exactly. So we were talking earlier before off stream about like various things about, you know, where we are right now with the animation and then where we are now, let's say One Piece, because Recon and I, we've been around the bend for a while, and there was a point in time where like seeing where One Piece has come from, where One Piece was like really not that great in terms of the quality animation, in terms of the focus, and then seeing where we are now, and they want to give it its take on that. So, Vincent, if you could like just roll through that real quick, because it was actually a pretty interesting conversation we had before about like where One Piece was back in the day, like let's say late or early 2010s to where we are like now.
For sure, for sure. I mean, it's an anecdote I do say quite often, but like when I was like 14, 15, like One Piece was my favorite manga. I had been reading for, I think, 2 or 3 years by that point. And I came back from school and randomly, started watching the TV. And One Piece East Blue was on the TV at that time. And amusingly enough, it was actually right after Naruto. And so you had like the two, the Naruto and the One Piece anime in succession. And I was able to, watch the both of them. And one of the two, I'm not pointing fingers, but one of the two was not looking quite as good as the other one, let's say. And I did carry this hatred of the early One Piece anime for quite a bit. Obviously, I was a kid, so it was, when you're a kid, it's very easy to hate stuff, to be like, this is the worst thing ever. Obviously, I can, have a bit more nuance. I can say, it's an aesthetic that was created because of the lack of time, because of many technical constraints. So obviously, my colleagues at the time had to make the choice to finish on time the episode. But still, I was very much, let's say, not happy about it when I was a kid, because again, Naruto and Bleach were right next to it, and like I was getting grilled in school by my friends. Like I had like a group of we were three in that group. One was a Bleach guy, one was a Naruto guy, and I was a One Piece guy. And I just was getting grilled.
I feel that
because of the anime.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was my experience growing up. And when I became, when I started entering the animation sphere, obviously everyone, to study animation, you have to look at great animation. And let's say there was no clip of One Piece to watch at the time. Let's say. So
yeah. So One Piece was like
I remembered for a good, like, let's just say 3 or 4 years, we kept rewatching the same Law versus Virgo clip here on YouTube, because that was like the main clip of like, oh yeah, this is our clip, our clip for 5 years, and it was that's how deprived we were of like really cool scenes at the time. But
because like I think like
but
I'll say like
I'm glad to see where we are right now, right, with the One Piece anime, which is so cool.
Oh, for sure. Because I feel like there was a point in time where it was like you had a lot of the most prominent scenes were scenes that like Natoshi did, where like you had like the Marco and Kizaru scene. You had like the Gear 4 Bowman scene. I think he did the Virgo versus Smoker stuff too. And it's like like at that point in time, there weren't that many like key figures that were having like some quintessential like fight scenes or like big moments. There were good anime scenes for sure, but they weren't on the same level that they were now. And I'm wondering too, like, do you feel like Toei has maybe like uptick a lot of the animation because of the rise of a story like of Demon Slayer? Where like I feel like Demon Slayer's rise to like its heights also kind of like branched out throughout the industry, and then other studios start to try and match because they realize how good animation can go so far for a series.
A very interesting question. Before diving into it, I just want to go back to something we said earlier. I don't think right now in One Piece is perfect, and maybe it's just my perfectionism speaking, but I do believe we can still do way better, even though we still have constraint just like back then. Right now we have the very famous constraint of having one episode being one chapter, and it is a constraint. We also have the constraint of having to follow a script that is given to us, and we don't have control of that script. And sometimes when the script is not saying it's bad, but when it's not as good as it could be, sometimes you're just like, well, what do I do? What do I do?
Right.
But anyway, to answer your question, which I actually completely forgot, so I'm going to ask you to repeat your question again.
Yeah. So my question was that, considering where like One Piece was, and then that shift, you could argue, let's say around Wano country, like where things started to like really like explode. I would kind of argue, like, let's say like maybe like the Katakuri fight with Luffy, where things really got like really fantastic. But Demon Slayer came out, and Demon Slayer was just like a tremendous like rise in animation quality, where like within like a year or two, it started to beat out One Piece in terms of the viewership and the sales, all these different things. So I was wondering if maybe like Demon Slayer's rise had an impact on like Toei Animation trying to raise the quality of their animation scenes too, which like Wano Country was such as like on average, those scenes were like amazing scenes. And then, the guys like you saw become way more prominent. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a very interesting question. So I think there is two sides to answer, two ways to answer this question. The first is from an animator, or I should say an animation team perspective, and the second one is from a producer slash television perspective.
Okay.
And I can tell you exactly from where it's coming from on the One Piece team side, which is, he's not line producer anymore, but Akaori-san is now a bit more up than just line producer. Akaori-san was someone who at the time was a Seisaku Shinko in One Piece during, Dressrosa, Whole Cake, and he was, watching any other anime on the side. Like I think also worked on Sword Art Online, and he was like, why is One Piece not up there? The story is so good. How come we don't have, that crispy animation?
Yeah.
And the answer was very obvious. Like the answer was time, also budget, also people. The answer was very, very obvious. And so Akaori-san set on a journey, growing higher and higher in the echelon of people in charge of One Piece. And he started, fighting and advocate for better conditions, for better opportunity to actually do good animation. And where I think your question get interesting is that I don't think Akaori-san necessarily was watching Demon Slayer, or that it's necessarily what compelled him to do that. But where I think it gets interesting is that the people he talked to, the people who, are the one who pay us, I think they definitely add stuff like Demon Slayer in their minds. I think that's a very fair assumption.
Oh, that's actually very
to
interesting.
have, for sure.
Okay. So because of that, so was that maybe around the time? Because like you could say like, yeah, like Demon Slayer was coming up, and then I'm assuming that like, okay, there's an intent to make like One Piece, because One Piece is such a great story. They want to give it the love and like it deserves, like they want to shine its love, its respect. But you're saying that, okay, because Akori was actually able to like really vouch and fight for like, hey, we want to get, like, we need to have better quality animation. We need to have better storyboarding, because it got to a point in Wano Country where they were airing these things in movie theaters. Like, there were actual, like, I remember for 1061, 1062, they put them in movie theaters in Japan for folks to watch. So that's a lot of confidence in your product to put that out there in a movie theater for folks to watch, even after it airs on television. And so that's a very bold thing. So like, do you think that like a lot of that was like he helped move a lot of that tide to even do things of that sort, like actually push things to movie theaters and be way more consistent, like take breaks in the episode scheduling, so you actually have focus. Yeah, so how does it help like animators and like, you know, like yourself actually really like do a lot of the quality work in terms of scheduling? How's it help you guys out?
Absolutely. So, I don't want to throw any, studio under the bus. I don't want to say any names, even though I think what I'm referring to. But, I'm sure you've heard about some, or should I say, interesting things that happen in Hollywood when it comes to money and cutting corner and getting,
Yes.
more money at the end of the day. Japan, not saying any name, sometime does that. Where, for example, a very famous one that's happening in Japan right now is you have a studio taking a lot of project and taking 6 months worth of budget and time from a project and giving it to another, and the people being on the project that got shafted being just like, where is the money, big man? And like, One Piece does literally the opposite, where they
Okay,
will
good.
literally be like, okay, we cannot, like, the episode will not be airing at that time. We need
Right.
1 more week. We need 2 more weeks. And that's actually has allowed to push for far better quality, far better episode. Because at the end of the day, still, a series that has to come out nearly every week.
Right.
Also, like, we're also trying to not catch up to the manga that it's one of the
Yeah, that
biggest
struggle.
fear of the
Yeah.
studio. It's catching up to the manga. So with kind of decision also, we have a thing called frame count per
Mhm,
episode.
mhm.
Like more normal series would be like, oh, we cannot go over this amount of frame. And uh just small parenthesis, but this whole frame count can be a bit I've seen a lot of people misunderstand what it means. It's not the frame rate, because the frame rate is the same no matter what kind of anime you're watching.
Mhm.
It's just the amount of drawing animators are allowed to draw. But like a 1 second cut, depending on the animator, can have different layers, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
so this will create more frames. And in One Piece, we nearly have almost no limit. Like, I think once they said
Really.
like, maybe can you
Wow.
reduce a bit the frame? But like, we're on, a more traditional anime, they would be like, sorry, like, we cannot go over that limit. Can you make the animation as simple as possible? In One Piece, it's very often, oh, I want to
Wow.
do this and that and this and that, and they just go like, okay.
Really. Wait. So
That's awesome.
that's yeah, it's really awesome, but also it's kind of crazy because so the
Right.
idea of the idea of actively wanting simple animation is like more of an industry standard. Really. That's actually insane because you would think that.
Absolutely.
So it's
Wow.
about, let's
Yeah.
say, because like it's about how much money you have to actually pay the people to actually do certain frames. Whereas, let's say,
And
okay,
the
why
time.
not? Yeah, at the time, right? Because you would think, okay, if you have better animation overall, then you get more eyeballs, you get more sales for, let's say, toys or whatever, for like
Mhm.
whatever series you're doing. But you're saying, no, 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 no. At the time, because it costs so much money to get the frames done, they'll actively say keep it simpler, and that's wow. Okay.
I mean, if you like, here's the thing. I'm not saying that's what you should do. Actually, that's even what I'm
Mhm.
personally against. But if you make a product for very cheap,
Uh-huh.
even if you sell it less, the question is just, is the benefit you get from having less quality, uh, is it worth it or not? That's just the question. And
Mm.
at the moment, the One Piece team, or at least the people in charge, people like Akaori-san,
Mhm.
also our new line producer Tokida-san, they're
Mhm.
like, no, we want this quality actually, and so that's why they're fighting every day
Okay.
to get us,
Okay.
the working condition that we want.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. So then, so it's like those conditions then that you guys have, they help facilitate a better work environment. And then, so then I guess the question moving here would then be, okay, so then is it possible to where you can make it more constant, or do they? Because like obviously some episodes they take a step back, like the quality does drop. Like that's a big criticism of the anime for One Piece, where it's like sometimes it's like over the top, off the charts. Oh my god! But then episode or two later, it's like it diminishes the quality drastically, and folks find it kind of jarring. Where it's like, whoa, like wait a minute, like why can't it be overall consistent on a more regular basis? Whereas instead of, but then could you be consistently high quality like in Wano Country, where episodes were high quality for the most part? But then, like, is Egget Island get the same thing moving forward? Elbath, after Elbath, can you guys maintain that moving forward? Is that even possible?
So this is very interesting. I will have to be a bit careful about my answer here. So this is why we say that budget is not everything in an anime production, and this is kind of the limit of budget. And how do I say technically, it is what you're saying, having every episode being a 20 out of 20. It is technically feasible, but how do I say that? Do people see your chat? See the Discord chat?
Oh, the Discord chat? People see my chats, but they don't see the Discord chat. No one sees the Discord chat.
Okay, all right. So this is the kind of stuff I might write and then just be like, like, I don't know about it.
Okay, you can send me a message on like Twitter or something, and then I'll keep it private. Yeah, send me something on Twitter and just let me know. Because obviously, so okay, because I would assume, because I don't want you to get in trouble. You can send me a message on Twitter, and then we're cool. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
The idea is just that it's possible.
No buster calls.
Yeah, right, exactly. No buster
calls.
No clicks.
Yeah,
no buster calls. No buster call. Yeah, no buster calls. None, zero.
Toy coming from this room. Oh,
that's right.
It's like it's feasible, but it's at this point, it's not a budget thing. I don't want to, because I don't want to, insult anyone. I cannot, say exactly what this is about, but it's in the way Toei is known. It feels difficult to imagine it happening right now, but it's an ideal I would like to fight for, and I'm trying to fight for. But again, because things are how they are, it is how it is. I'm sending you a message.
Yeah, please. Say I need this message. So then, okay.
I will never say. I will never.
Yeah,
it is.
Listen, you won't see me say a damn thing either, right? I just need to know, because this is. Okay. I got you.
It is.
I got it.
If I speak, I am in big trouble. If I speak, I am.
So then let's get to someone then, because this is something that's interesting too, and maybe you can't speak on this one too. So a few years ago, and I think recently too, when you did that really, really amazing Kizaru versus Luffy scene, when they're fighting in the clouds and you have all the crazy effects, and it was like a masterclass. You were talking about Luffy, he's free. You could see how he's almost like a deity, all kind of stuff. It was really, really good when you had that write up. But there was also an interesting side of things where everyone was praising the animation for that scene. And then there was someone by the name of Hone-san, who had comments about the One Piece anime sound effects, where he said it 2 times now, where it's almost like an embarrassment, where it is disgusting how the sound, look at how he knows the sound effects are so bad that they're actually diminishing the quality of your work, of the work of Naotoshi, Aki Ota-san, anyone else that works on the anime. It's like, why are the sound effects so dog water? And Hone had 2 public outbursts about that, 2 of them, and he was very upset with it. So can you talk about that?
So what? Sugetsugu-san is someone who is very. It's actually a bit rare sometimes with people I've met here, but he's very honest with his opinion, and We do tend to agree or more things than just one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This is, again, like, it's difficult. I don't want to, throw my colleagues under the bus or like say that some of my colleagues' work is not bad. It's not something I want to do. But I think it's important to understand that Japan is a country that value experience a lot. And actually, I've gone to dinner with the gentleman veteran who is doing the sound design, and he actually had this very interesting anecdote. Is it true or not? I don't know, but he was the one who made the Kamehameha sound.
Yes.
Like, he's actually very proud of that. He told us each time, I tried to talk to him about sound design. He's, oh, do you know that I made the Kamehameha sound with a CD actually? And but he had this interesting anecdote that when Akira Toriyama sensei met him, he was like, so you're the one who's reading my my manga with your sound design.
Really?
And actually, is it true or not?
Wow.
I don't know. But he told us that, Tao Pai Pai, Toriyama sensei actually made the design of Tao Pai Pai based on him, because he was, again, according to that gentleman, because he was, quote unquote, jokingly furious at him.
Okay.
So that's an anecdote he told us. Is it true or not? I don't know, but Tao Pai Pai does look like him a bit, so.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty interesting because he's a pretty prominent villain at that point in time. He comes back and then he turns to an android. He gets absolutely annihilated. So it's a pretty interesting statement to say, hey, yeah, he gets annihilated. Right. So it's pretty crazy to say that the sound director at that point in time is also Tao Pai Pai in this image. That's pretty nuts. But then, okay, so then, is there any sort of, because I'm pretty sure like you see it, if someone like Hone is saying these things about these sound effects, and you can kind of see online, like a lot of people that are like, English speaking people, they're like, these sound effects are like 45 years old. Like, why are we still using sound effects for things that are like in 2025, do you know like a sense of how the Japanese fans feel about the sound effects right now? Like, do they like it? Are they like used to it? Or like, is there like also like an outcry about, hey, they should be adjusted and edited because it's, they've been for so like, one of the things that come to mind right now is that when you like a lot of work on the Garp scene versus Kuzan, like when Garp goes like starts to release more haki, more power, they have the same Super Saiyan sound effect, and it's like, why is Garp going Super Saiyan? What's going on here? Like, this is so like it's a really dope scene, but we're using literally sound effects that are from the 1980s. So I'm curious about what you think about that.
Yeah, no, I'm. My opinion, I think, is pretty much the same as everyone. Again, I cannot, and I don't want to criticize, the work of my colleagues who are working in a very difficult industry. What I would say is that Japan does value experience a lot,
right?
Which, you get what you will from that.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think it most certainly is a very important conversation to have, though, because whenever I think of like for Gear 5, for example, I remember before that was animated, we were all thinking about, what kind of cartoon sound effects are going to accompany Gear 5, yes. And so that's where that is like. We want to see that. We want to see them go back to the 30s and 20s and bring stuff from like Disney cartoons or just as a reference and utilize them in that way. And I think the sound effects in the One Piece anime, Zoro vs. King is a good example, right? Zoro vs. King has like excellent sound design throughout the course of that entire final stretch of that entire battle. It's one that sticks out in my mind as like a super iconic soundtrack at this point. Is like I can hear that soundtrack in my head as I think back to that sequence. And so sound design alongside of the visual harmony of it all is something that I think is so important that I'm glad we're having this conversation to at the very least bring to highlight the topic for what could potentially happen in like LBAF, right? Let's just say when we get to LBAF, there could be like something that could potentially change, right, or something in the future. Considering we highlight this topic in conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, again, if you want my opinion on it, I'm of the same opinion as everyone. People on the One Piece team, very close to my opinion as well.
Yeah.
Also, they would say it with, a lot of nuance, as a lot of people in Japan do. But will it change in the future? I hope.
I hope, yeah. That's like you just do right there. I hope, yeah. So, I mean, I guess
again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad.
But you can argue that, because a lot of folks, they get used to it. Like, you adjust to it, you get used to it, of course, with time, It's just that, because, like, right now, like, the playing field, there's so many more players right now in the field than they ever have been in the industry. Like, there's so many more animes that are coming out. We've seen things now, I think, go, like, for example, like, Periot, who do, like, Boruto, like, they're now changing up their whole dynamic so they can do better quality stuff. Toei Animation has done a lot of good things. You have Demon Slayer that's still, like, very popular out there. They have, like, movies coming out. So, like, everyone's upping their game as time goes on. And then now you have more players that are coming in from, like, other countries. Now you have, I don't know if you know, but, like, you have China now. They have like, these massive shows. So you have Tubi Hero X that replaced One Piece's time slot, which was crazy.
Love that show.
Then you have Lord of Mysteries. And it's like, you have all these players that are not coming out from different countries, and they're matching, if not even superseding, where you're seeing a lot of the Japanese, like shows do. Do you ever see yourself maybe working for, even like a series that are made from China or South Korea? Do you ever see that possible or no? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just, it always comes down to schedule. Like, do I have time or not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing is never going to be as fun as One Piece, but some stuff can come very close to it. You know what I mean? I often, help friends who are like, who work on an anime that I personally don't necessarily vibe 100% with, but I do help friends quite a bit. So yeah, I have no problem. I've worked for friends quite a bit. I've worked for America. I've worked for England. I've worked for Korea.
Okay.
I'm just like, if you have an interesting project, I have time. Sure.
There it is. Yeah, of course. Time, and of course, the money. Obviously, very important. You got to get paid for your work. Obviously, who was going to pay for? Of course, yeah. Because if you don't know,
that's right.
yeah. Because if Chad doesn't know too,
work
he's also
condition
done exactly. Because Chad, if you guys don't know, so to remind Chad, he's also done work from Primal, the Genny Tartakovsky, the guy that did also Samurai Jack. He did work with him too for like way back when. So and Primal's a really good show, and his scenes are really good scenes. But then I have to kind of go over to like one of the elephants in the room, and that was Jujutsu Kaisen. So with Jujutsu Kaisen, you were very public about how you didn't want to work for these guys anymore. You're like, no, these guys are crazy. But to be frank, one of the scenes that you did was with Sukuna versus Mahoraga. That's one of the best scenes. Like, that's an outstanding scene, undeniably. And
agreed.
But at the same time, yeah, it was really, really good. So I think people recognize you to be a JJK and also like One Piece Animator because of that one scene alone. But I feel like when you have Mappa, who like notoriously drove a lot of directors and animators to the bone, but the quality of the season is like on such a high level, it's hard to match. Like, what do you think about like the results versus the actual workload to get there? Like, how do you feel about that whole experience going through with JJK season 2? He'll come back more of that.
Well, it's at the same time the good thing and the difficult with Japanese production is that it's a passion industry very much. So you can absolutely drive to slavery people using passion. So and that's again why we say that budget sometimes is not sufficient to explain an animation. So sometimes you just can be, oh, you want to work on this cool project. I don't have keys on me, but it's like, you look at the cool project. Come on the cool project. You will do cool animation.
Yeah.
And then just people are like, oh, I guess I want to work on the project. I guess I do.
Right, yeah. God.
But it's like,
yeah.
That's also why I, decided to make the choice I made. But let me be clear, King, my king. I would make that same.
Yeah, it works too.
I would say I would make that same decision with any company. Like,
okay, that's fair.
I love the One Piece team, but they're not. There is no perfect company in Japan. Let's first start with that.
Yes.
And
they get like black companies that are like very, very hard to work with. Obviously, people get like forced into a lot of difficult work. The hours, like, I mean, there are some times where animators, they can work for so long where they even go to the hospital, like even because they work for so long. It's that's
death.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's death.
Absolutely. Some people work to death. I mean, so I don't want to. If this goes into a YouTube video, I don't want to demonetize your.
No. Don't worry about that. My guys will edit it and everything be okay. They'll bleep it out. They'll put a fancy little duck sound over it. Don't worry about that. You're good. Have fun. If you want to make curse, if you want to use curse words, have fun. All right, have fun. Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. The Japanese industry as a whole is a very hard, very harsh industry, especially for what we call shinjin, which you would call junior, or people try to enter the industry. It is especially
interns and so on,
hard.
like interns, yeah.
And so, like, yes, to go back to what we were discussing, I made a decision to not work with this studio. In truth, there are other studios for which I've made the same decision. But I would still make that decision for any studio if one day I discover that some stuff that I consider my limit are crossed.
Yeah, because it kind of feels like when you have this situation where people are openly saying, like, throw your key cards in the garbage. I forgot who it was, but like a very prominent person said, like, throw your key cards in the garbage.
I know it was.
Yeah. And it was like, yeah, like, we're not working for Map anymore. But then when you mentioned how, okay, well, they obviously kind of dangle that sort of, you can be a part of making great scenes that come work for us, and then they work it to the bone. It's like in the same thing where, like, you have some gaming industries that people will work a lot on video games because they love video games. Like, they love making, their dreams come to life. Like, ultimately, like, as an animator, as director, kind of the same thing, right? Like, you want to make your dreams, your vision of how you see this happening come to life. But then they kind of dangle that kind of cat in front of you, and then they force you into a situation where, okay, here's your dream, but you're also going to have to work, like, like 10 hours a day, at least, to get this done, and the hours are pretty brutal. But when I hear about Mappa, and I hear about other like anime studios, and they mention how Toei, I don't hear about Toei ever having this issue where like Toei has issues where people are like working to the bone and like like they're going to the hospital. I don't hear about Toei like that, and I'm wondering, is that because Toei is like a weekly series where it has One Piece is, I should say, One Piece has a weekly sort of format where they do it step by step, and then other series are more seasonal, and so there are certain deadlines that they meet, whether it's because of let's say the time slot, where let's say Netflix, because Netflix has a now pull now, so doing a lot of different shows. So I wonder how you think how all that plays a role into all that.
I mean, it's a very interesting way to think of it. I never thought about it that way, but I think there might be some truth to what you said, in the sense that because it's continuous, you can't have someone being like, okay, I'm going to take 6 months here and put 6 months here. And it goes both ways, because we cannot take time out. At the same time, we cannot add time as well. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, again, haven't thought about it that way, but it is true that we cannot get, we cannot get got with that whole time thing.
Yeah, because there was like before JJK season 2, or I guess actually during season 2 of JJK, there was a noticeable break. I think it was like a 2 or 3 month break. And I think that was to give animators enough time to kind of do what they wanted to, but that wasn't even enough time. That wasn't enough. It was because the demand of work was so much. You probably need like half a year or more to really get it all done. I mean, in fact, even when the Blu-rays came out, there was more work done on the Blu-rays. So did you play a role in that, by the way? Did you do work on the Blu-rays too, or no? For JJK?
Yeah, so there was an animator who didn't finish his work, and they asked me to do some Gengar for him, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I did my scene. I'm good. No,
I did my sin. Yeah, I
did
paid
my
my
sin.
penance.
I'm good.
I'm done. Okay.
But I've had some friends who, you know, because it was Akuyugo-san directly asking us, so guys, sorry,
Yeah.
like we're trying to finish it for the Blu-ray and make everything look as good as possible, because Go-san is very much a perfectionist like me. He still wasn't happy with the Blu-ray, but you know, it's a lot of artists are like us, so I completely understand where he's coming from. But yes, you know, like we had Go-san had to make very drastic decision to air the episode when it aired, and after that there were a bunch of scenes that were not finished, and you know, some animator who, you know, disappeared. And we still had to finish the scene, so he asked me and a lot of my friends if they could help. I did not help because I had too much work. I had finished my scene on time for the episode. So I was like, I don't want to jump back into the nightmare. I'm good. I'm free,
and then now
I'm
even
free.
more stress. Now even more stress trying to get more work done for the Blu-ray. We have other things to do. Yeah, I understand. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. Okay, so man, because that situation with Map and JJK, again, like your work was really good there. But yeah, I think people recognize you more for what you've done for One Piece. And do you see yourself trying to like animate or even direct more episodes of One Piece in the future? Like if of course God willing.
So I'm not, again, very interesting discussions that I've had with many of my friends and colleagues. I don't think I'm a director, and it's not about being able to do it or not, because I went to school for a school that supposedly prepared me to do directing.
Yeah.
But I will say I see myself as an animator. I want to animate. And the quote unquote issue with being a director, although it's not impossible, but it's less time for animation. And that's a sacrifice I'm not sure I'm able to make. Storyboarding more, for sure, because it doesn't... You do storyboard before doing animation, so almost like doing your rough animation early, and it doesn't take away from the animation time. So I'm open to
because when you
storyboard,
because like whenever you write, you're sort of, and I loved it, or I do like it a lot when you roll through your thought process on how you come with certain scenes, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, this is clearly like the makings of like how like a director would view certain like scenes and how they would be showcased within a certain episode. So like when you, for example, the S-Hawk versus Luffy and Zoro scene, when you went over how because S-Hawk is young and he's very inexperienced, but he still has Mihawk's, so he has Mihawk's physique and skills. So you actually incorporated various martial arts styles, but they were pretty flashy and they were quite useless. So Zoro, who's very experienced, would actually be able to like perceive what he was doing. So it's like those things I think are like the workings of someone that would think about not only the characters, but also like how they would expand, let's say, with real world concepts, real world like martial arts and let's say ways of religion and so on, and then incorporating them into the store so it becomes a much better experience. And those and honestly, people love that scene a lot when S-Hawk fought against Zoro and Luffy. Yeah, that scene was an outstanding scene. So I mean, I would probably vouch for a lot of people saying that I think that you should. It's a lot more work, obviously, but trying to do directing and storyboarding more often on your part, I think people would be like, hell yeah, absolutely. They would back you up 1,000%. 1,000%, Vincent, absolute.
I will try. Although it might be my egotistic part, but I do love animating quite a lot. So I'm like, I'm. Again, I haven't tried being a nenjutsu, so it's like talking about being a baker when you have never been a baker. You know what I mean?
Fair, yeah.
But it's like maybe I will try it at some point, but I am fearful of, starting an animation scene while being an Enchutsu and ending up, not being happy about this animation scene because I was Enchutsu at the same time. That's what I am fearful
Okay,
of.
that makes sense.
Again,
That
I
makes sense. Yeah.
might do it at some point.
Mm.
We will see. But I'm just so invested into animation and how things should move to tell a story that
Do you feel like your
right
colleagues?
now it's not.
Do you feel like your colleagues give you enough like they allow you to have more of an input on a certain scene? So you want to get you have a really good idea, you want to get it done. Do you feel like there's enough like back and forth between you and your other colleagues so you do get the scene that you kind of want, at least most of the time, more often than not, you think?
I mean, there is always, differences in vision. Like the One Piece team is very much like the One Piece fan base is.
Mm.
Some people look at a certain panel and one director is going to see this and another
Right.
director is going to say, hold on, I see this.
Right,
And
right.
so obviously there are times where me talking to my director or my colleagues, we have difference in opinion, but at the end of the day, we still have to make it work even with difference of opinion. So I
Okay.
would say in the whole, when compared to the entire industry, I would say yes, I'm actually very privileged with the, oh my god, that's dark, King
Yeah.
Rican. But yes, I would say yes, I am
Dude,
very blessed.
I'm so sorry.
Nah, you're good.
Oh yeah. So much you got Dami reversed, bro.
Bro, I really did, dude.
How was it?
Emu took you, bro. Just flipped you around. Oh, it's crazy. Oh man. But yeah, we were just going over various things about the industry, and then maybe in the future he may try to do some storyboarding or some directing. But he's an animator at heart.
Mhm.
People I can we can understand like either we stream or we make content, but that's what we want to do. Like that's our passion. So then, because I guess something I want to really kind of go over too is that you made some incredible scenes. But I think so.
I've
What's
tried.
like? Yeah, I mean, I think you really have. I think the people's reaction to your scenes are proof enough. But what's like your favorite scene, and what do you think is like the best scene that you've made? So like the favorite, but also what's your best scene you think you made?
Feel Christian because I'm the kind of person who look at everything I've made and I'm always like, I can always nitpick my own work. I can always be like,
Sure.
this
Sure.
scene, like,
I
I
got you.
missed that thing. I will say the one that was the most fun to make is definitely the Luffy versus Kizaru. Like,
Ooh.
me discussing with Matsumi-san. Like, actually, when we were in the planning stage of this episode, we went together with Tanaka-san and Nishida-san of the background team. We went to USJ together, and we were having this discussion where we would go on the Harry Potter ride and be like, oh, that moment when we push, we should try to have something like this.
Oh, I like that.
Very fun episode to make. Because this scene, there was so much back and forth. I came with an entire, 2-minute animation, and Matsumi-san was like, okay, let's take some stuff out, let's add some stuff. And then on top of it, I came and added some stuff as well. And Matsumi-san also took some stuff. It, to me, and that's just my perspective, it feels a bit patchworky, but I feel like the eye of that scene are my personal biggest eye as an animator.
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah. Because it sounded like
Yeah,
you had
that's
like a
cool.
lot of like almost like a really fun class project in school or something. It's like you have like your team and you're kind of working on, we should
Right.
do this. No, let's not do that. Let's do it this way instead. And so it's a nice back and forth on like, you and everybody else with Matsumi-san and so on. We're like working to make like the best scene you guys can, where it doesn't have everything you want, but also has things that you thought actually were better than what you thought, and it's like, oh wow, and then the final product's like, damn, yeah, so that's really really cool, yeah. So that's the most fun. What about the best? You think that's like the best one too, like the number one you've done, the number one
best one. So that's difficult because
yeah,
like
the best.
What does it mean to be the best? Is it about like the eyes? Is it about what are we looking at? I would say if we're just talking about purely animation prowess, animation technicity, I would say the highest I have had are definitely on Luffy versus Kizaru. Like from a technical standpoint, like this has this scene has some of the again, I say that as an animator, the most technically quote unquote impressive stuff I've made for sure. If you're looking for consistency, mood, maybe it's between the Zoro King or the recent Five Elder scene. I'd say maybe it's between the two. I'm also fairly happy with the scene I did on Boruto when he's Baryon mode and he's using his last Rasengan.
Yeah, Baryon mode Naruto. Yeah, either one too. That was yeah, that was pretty cool. That was very very cool too. Yeah,
very short scene, short scene, but I'm happy with it for sure. I'd say it's between these scenes.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Because part of me wants to say that like when I think about like the best work that you've been a part of, like me personally, I think that, and I'm not sure if it's like even possible to like surpass this. Honestly, I think that what you guys did in 1074 was like magical.
Oh,
like
amazing.
Kaido versus Luffy. Like
that was so
when
good.
when you said before in previous interviews that like tapping into Luffy is like tapping into like an imagination where like you can do anything. And then just seeing during that whole fight, like Kaido hit Luffy up into the sky. Luffy literally like upside down on top of the clouds, makes the clouds into like a rubber platform. Then he grabs lightning bolts like they're, and then he just yeets them down. That was some of the best I've ever seen like ever. Like that was incredible. And that to me, I don't know if there's ever a scene that can surpass that. That 3-minute fight sequence was like the pinnacle of like creativity, hype, Luffy's powers, Kaido showing how even though you're able to do all this crazy Looney Tune stuff, I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna match you no matter what. Like that, it was so immaculate. So just like what do you think about like the possibility of like being able to create something like that again? You know, like something like on that level.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. Before that, I would say the reason why this scene specifically was not in the discussion about one of my best scenes is I personally have, some restraint as an animator because it was a Luffy versus Kaido fight. I came in with a like 1 minute and so rough of being like, okay, this is what I want to animate. I want to add more graphic to the fight and stuff. And there were some divergent opinion that made me only do like something like 20 seconds, and it became a smaller scene that I personally wanted it to be. It's not about everyone else. It's just me. I would have liked it to be even bigger. So I definitely do believe we can make it bigger for sure. But there are also things that are beyond our control. I think something I wanted to make on the Kizaru versus Luffy, and that I also wanted to make on the Kaido versus Luffy, is like a 4-minute fight scene. Because a scene I talk a lot about is Naruto versus Sasuke in the Valley of the End. Like the fight done by Norio Matsumoto. It's a 4-minute Enso fight. And it's just, I wish we can create a scene like this that goes on for 4 minutes, and it's just interesting choreography of two characters expressing who they are through their fighting. And it's my dream. So I think it is feasible, but again, there are things that are our control as animator. Like I was talking about script before, but if character just clash and do nothing else in a chapter, I can, make the camera rotate around them clashing for like 5 minutes. They will still only be clashing. You know what I mean?
Garp versus Kuzan, they have their clash, and then you have the impact frames of like Garp and Kuzan giving the high five, but then it boils to the cross. Yes, like you're gonna do really like so much, I suppose, right?
Setting is important. Setting is very important.
Yeah.
On that same line of thought, I'm curious. Was there like a moment where you were reading the manga? Not for something that's coming in the future, but like for something back in like Wano or Egghead, where you were like, "Oh, I would love to work on that scene," and then you got to work on that scene. Was there a moment like that?
Yeah.
Actually, it's the opposite. Often I read the manga and I'm like, "Wow, this scene looks like a pain in the ass to animate. I don't want to animate this scene." And then they come to me and they're like, "Vin, do you mind doing this scene?" And I'm like, I guess I'm doing this scene then. More often than not.
Yes.
Because like some scene, some scene are like, if you do them poorly, people will see it. But if you do them perfectly, quote unquote, no one will care, if that makes sense. And they're like, I think some stuff like the Elder appearance, you know what I mean? Or like the Luffy Gear 5 reveal when you have like the name tag of Gear 5, the title appearing. Like this scene, it's very easy to miss this scene. It's very easy to make something that's not that interesting. But if you do them, they're not necessarily, the highest moment of an episode. Like, like Gear 5, the highest moment of the episode is when Kaido and Luffy are actually fighting. That's a bit you don't want to miss. The Gorosei appearing, high note of the episode is when, Zoro and Lucy are fighting.
Yeah.
And so, at some point as an animator, you can do everything you can in your power, but if it's not the main part of the episode, even if you do it perfectly, which I'm not saying I did, I'm not saying, everything perfectly, it will still not be the main part of the episode. So I just try to do my best with what I'm given, and sometimes I try to go to my boss Tokida-san, and I'm like, Tokida-san, can I do this scene? And so I go like, we will see.
We will see. Yeah. So like, cause like it makes a lot of sense because you have like you have a lot of scenes in the manga that are just only like one frame, and then so you have to fill in 30 minutes or 25 minutes of episode time because you're only going episode per week. Chapter episode. So it's like you only have that much time to do one chapter work, and I really think like when you guys take the liberties with the directors, like if they allow it to, and you're allowed to do like a lot of different things, that's when you kind of really get things that shine, that really stick out, because you're adding so much more content to that scene. And like a lot of times, like Oda himself will like kind of just leave it like as is, and then we'll move away from that clash. But you can add in like another 2-3 minutes of that scene, giving it way more depth to it, and then it's actually more visually stimulating for the audience to view that than let's say you do that simple clash and that's it. So it's risky, and obviously depends on the directors and the storyboarders, but it's like, as an animator, I'm pretty sure you do want to see a lot more of that. Like, you want to be able to like get a lot more work done in these. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, this is a situation where I 100% agree with you, but sometimes
watch out for the Buster call. You gotta watch out.
Buster call. Yeah.
It's like we work for a gigantic economical empire.
Yes.
And there are, again, trying to be very, to choose my word carefully. But like, we work for a very an economic giant. Some of the choices that are made are not made by the artist team. is
Okay.
all I will say.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. Because it's just a shame because it's like we see it so many times. And it's like you can argue there are folks that they do talk about Oda's vision, where you want to maintain Oda's vision, but it's like a lot of times you can just add so much more work to it. It's like, especially when you don't feel like an entire episode and you don't have, like too much, let's say, filler episode content. So having extended comedy or fight scenes, which you guys do so well, it makes a lot of sense. But either way, though, that's neither here or there, I suppose. One of the things I also want to know too is that, like, are there certain characters, because you love Kaido. That's obvious. You love Kaido. Kaido is your bread and butter, right? That's for sure. Like, for all the seasons that people talk about Luffy, you love Kaido. You love Zoro. You love Luffy, but Kaido's like, whoa. So do you see another character, like Sanji, for example? Do you see another character you see yourself in the future for?
I love antagonist. I've talked about it a lot, but my biggest animation heroes are Andreas Deja and Katy Zielinski, who are both Polish and American animators, but they basically were the big antagonist lead of respectively Disney and DreamWorks, with Andreas Deja doing character like Scar from The Lion King, or Katy Zielinski doing a character like Tsekel Khan to El Dorado. And the work with antagonists is just something that I personally am very drawn to, that I absolutely love. So give me some Blackbird, give me some rocks, give
him some rocks.
Ooh.
Give him some rocks. He wants it. Oh man, yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah, man. I mean, okay, so
that
more
actually makes a lot of sense with how hard you went on the Gorosei sequence whenever they appeared, because it looked like you had a lot of fun with that scene whenever they initially first all they make their appearance.
Yeah, that was a great scene for sure. I mean, even with S-Hawk, and then even of course with again, like one of the best scenes was seeing that scene with Kaido going. It was before Gear 5, when Kaido is kind of like powering up, and then you have Gear 4 Bowman Luffy before Guernica stops him. When you have that scene, you have like Kaido going through his various forms, like almost instantaneously, almost like fluid. Luffy has like that impact frame of him going to Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 4, Gear 5. Like whenever you have good antagonists, and there are so many good antagonists in One Piece, so many good rivals, and then it's like, because these characters you can argue are like some of the best characters in the story too. Maybe just me. Like some of these characters are just really good characters. They're so written, and so it feels like you really dive into your bag with these characters, because these antagonists they make the main characters feel better. You think, right? So it's like they make the main characters better, and you're like, I want to really dive into this, and then your animation and your thought process is really, really good. I mean, it's so good there. So then in the future, Rocks for sure, Blackbeard absolutely. Any Shanks possibilities?
Sure. I mean, I'm not opposed. Again, it's like I'm not opposed to it. It will depend on the story, on the scene. I'm not opposed to anyone. The Rocks and Blackbeard are just came to mind.
Okay, fair enough.
Pretty much all the characters.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, listen. I think people will be here for sure, especially with Rocks. Because Rocks is. I mean, I guess we kind of segue now into what's going on in the manga. So in general, what do you think about the manga right now? Elbaf right now. Like, what do you think about the story that's going on? Because we're in God Valley, man. We're here.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
It is. Tell me about it. I just absolutely love it. I love it 100%. Because I'm French, I always try to nitpick. Don't say this as me criticizing, but as a fan, I'm like, oh, could we have just a few more pages of these two characters fighting? And it's also me like fights, you know what I mean? So I'm like,
right.
Couldn't you make like these two characters just, like
really add more detail there, to please. I'm praying,
But yeah, it's been a great read for sure. Enjoying every last bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, So when it comes to like, you think the story right now, because you can kind of say that because we're getting the God Valley flashback now, the story could be like maybe reaching its conclusion ish. Are there any sort of theories that you have for the future of this arc and maybe for the future of the story? Yeah, come on. You have a theory. Come on, you have something. Give me something juicy. I know you have something.
Do you want the rancid agenda?
Yes.
So
let's get it. I'm done.
I mean, here's the thing.
Absolutely.
There are things I won't be able to go into serious theories I have because, you know, I've been spoiled actually twice working on this series. So there are, you know, the serious theories I won't be able to go in. But I'm very down to go into, you know, rancid agenda theories that have zero chance of coming up, but they're very funny to me, and so I advocate for them, even though I know they're very stupid. But it's like Chopper's fruit. Listen. I know you're going to say it's a copium.
Okay.
I know everyone is going to say I'm Delulu, and I am. But Chopper is my goat. I think there is something with Chopper's fruit. Why did Blackbeard go on his island? I think it's because of his fruit. Let me get close camera once again. So I look crazier. I think there is something with Chopper fruit. Next arc is going to be Chopper's arc. Believe me, bro. Please.
Okay, the human fruit you think has some deep stuff to it, like, you know, that's the hope, right? Chopper.
That's my deep copium. That's my deep.
That's the cope.
Do you think Chopper can awaken his powers? You think?
Obviously, bro, he can awaken them. No, we're just cooked. Like
mythical form Chopper.
Chopper fan. We're just cooked, man. Like, I don't know what to say. It's like I don't.
Yes, bro.
We're just so cooked,
bro. Because like, oh man, Chopper was really hype in the pre-time skip, and then Oda just kind of like, you know, he matters as a doctor. He's there in the background. Yeah, he exists. But, you know, remember when Chopper went to Monster Point and then he literally beat the shit out of Kamadari, and he grabbed him like this, and he threw him across an entire island in one eat. Like, where's that Chopper?
No.
Yes.
And then like
what happened to scope? What happened to being able to see people's weak? Like, anyway.
I mean, like, so here's the thing. So like, as an animator, let's say you get the chance to work on a Chopper scene in the future. Let's say the scene when Chopper is falling down, he saves Gabon, right? Let's say you get that shot to work on Chopper, okay? You have got to remind Oda, hey, Chopper has these things. So maybe Chopper, when he falls down, he uses, let's say, Brain Point for a second to try and figure out how to land safely. And then from there, you can have, let's say, him coordinate, like, use his abilities. Because he has Brain Point, he has Horn Point that we see him dig up holes with. We never seen that ever again. He had an Arm Point that I think Oda forgot about entirely. I don't know why. He has all these different forms. So it's like, if you could, like, would you try and actually look at this? Would you try and actually have, you know, Chopper be utilized better in that scene? Definitely, right?
I mean, it's the kind of thing where I would say yes, I would try, but the first issue is that Chopper, because of the length of his scene, and it's purely a length issue. Because of the length of his scene, there is first a very low chance that I'm given one of his scene, right. And the second issue is that I'm going to do a rough animation where he goes back to one of his original form, and he has a Conqueror Aki for one reason, and my director is just going to look at me and be like, even if it's you, we cannot do this. Like, I'm going to draw a flashback of him Conqueror clashing with Blackbeard, and my colleague.
Wait a minute, Vincent.
Like,
wait a minute.
You're bringing it. My directors are going to be like, no, guy.
Yeah, bro.
even if it's you, Vincent, you're really banging.
We need the chaos.
So,
We need the
No,
chaos.
I need him to stick
Bring
to
it
the original
on.
story, not bringing like Blackbeard versus Chopper feats here. Whoa, wait a minute. I don't need that. I don't need that in my timeline. Whoa.
even if I tried to do this, people would not let me do it for very obvious, very obvious reasons.
But like, for example, it's like you could do
Chopper with a sky-splitting feat. He just
It's like, wait a minute. Chopper's not Chopper's not with the sky splitting. It's crazy. Like, wait a minute. This is her for Yoko. This is her for like, like King. Chopper? Bro, you give me a heart attack.
I mean, that's like, my Copium, right?
But like,
that's right.
Could you do? But you could do like impact frames or something. Like you have impact frames of like Chopper's original form, something like that, and him be like some Dr. Jekyll, like Mr. Hyde type of thing, and then make it cooler. Give Chopper some, because like the last time Chopper got glazed. Wow. Punk Hazard?
I know. Tell me about it. Tell me about the last time he got glazed. Come on.
Oh man. Oh god, Chopper, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's again. If I had a scene with Chopper, obviously I would do my best to do something that's right by the character. I would do something that fit what I think is true about the character. But at the end of the day, if the fan in me end up, going past what is, what the actual character is,
right?
My director would be like, okay, Vincent, we cannot do this for, again,
it's too much,
reason. And I also think that's why they're not giving me Chopper scene, because they don't want to run into that problem. A lot of people in Japan do not like confrontation. So when they can avoid it, and I think they don't want to have this talk of being like, we love what you do, but Chopper cannot split the sky.
Yeah, can't split the sky. Yeah. He's not summoning Zeus and Prometheus. It's not happening. We just can't give him stuff. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, no, fair enough. I mean, but to be fair, if you were to do that, I don't think anyone would actually like complain too much in terms of not like sky splitting feats, but if you were to just give Chopper like a little more hype here and there, because I'm not too sure what's left for Chopper in the future. Like the theory is a cool thing about him having the human fruit, but at the same time, it's like Oda's never really had Chopper be that relevant in terms of like fights.
Yeah.
Right, let alone like deep story, So it's like that's why it becomes like if Chopper ever maybe in the future Chopper could get a fight with, let's say, a pirate, a celestial dragon, let's say a holy knight, maybe Q, right? Q. Yeah. So that could be something that could be interesting, but maybe not, let's say, combat heavy, but let's say more tactical, more like saving a life or killing a life, something that actually taints like their professions. Any other crazy theories you have out there? Any other crazy theories? Not Chopper.
Any other rancid theory? Rancid. Very, very some stinky agenda I have.
Yeah.
Let me think. I think I had another one, but it's not coming back to mind. It's that bad, actually. I think coming back right now.
Okay, well, let's roll through some stuff and then let's see if it comes back to you.
Is there like another one of those characters that like rarely show up? Let's say like a Foxy or an NL.
Oh, this guy, yes.
Or one of those characters that you...
I think what he's getting at is like, if there's a chance, because you were bringing up a little bit, but like, is there a chance that like you have like a Foxy or NL come back to the story, and then like could you do like a scene with them, maybe a little bit here and there?
If the opportunity is here, I would be absolutely down to draw some One Piece Golden Age character. Definitely, yes.
Absolutely.
That like barely show up.
Yeah. That's the thing, because like
something I wanted to do is I really want.
That could show up. Look in the final arc or something. Wait, can you hear
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. Sorry, you cut a bit.
Yeah, you were kind of like pretty, like you were going robotic, Recon. But yeah, so like the idea is like, yeah, like doing a scene with like, let's say a character that comes back. So let's say, for example, in the future, right? Let's say you have a scene where Doflamingo comes back. Probably will actually know him. Or let's say my goat, Enna. What if Enna comes back in, like, say, the final war, final part of the story, and then you can do a scene with him because he's part of the final war somehow, some way. So like, how would you see taking a character that's like an old school character that has not gotten like animation that's been like really happy animation, and how would you like elevate that character, but also like keeping true to the character and what they were before? Like, how do you see yourself doing something like that?
Very interesting question. I haven't thought about. I mean, I would do my best.
Right.
That's how I would go about it. I mean, obviously, like a lot of, again, research. Like at this point, I have read Skypia so many times, but I would just reread it again, really look at, what constitutes a character, how does he react to stuff, trying to, I've been taught animation in order to get into Disney, or at least that's what, Goblin tried to my animation school tried to get us to. So I really learned animation, the character approach. So I'm just trying to really understand who is the character. Welcome back, King Rickon.
He's back.
Trying to understand how he feels, what he thinks, what he would do. And then once I have sufficient research, and once I, can get into the character. I mean, it's ultimately a bit like acting. You try to understand the character you have to impersonate. And,
like a method acting, where like you want to be like that character. What would you want to do? Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, honestly. So then, okay, so let's say in the future, because obviously there are big things coming up. LBF's not done yet, but then you have, for example, the scene involving Emu, when Emu takes over Guko's body, and then they do the Diamond River Side, like what happened to King Recon before. You get Diamond River Side, and then you have that giant flipping scene. So then you'd probably like. There's a lot of different things that kind of correlate to, let's say, Emu's powers. Let's say the abilities of the Abyss, or what they could be. Like, how would you work yourself through that scene if you got the chance to work on Emu being inside of Gunko and doing the Diamond River Side?
I'm trying to not get too precise, but I just would look at the theme, what are we talking about? What is this power? What's the literacy around it? What are symbols that are associated with that? And ultimately, what is the scene about? What do I want the audience to feel? If that makes sense. And then based on this FT research, I would try to make the audience feel what, they would feel if they were there at that time, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I like that.
So, I guess, okay, so now I want to get into, like, you gave me some theories that are a little bit rancid theories. Is that one come back to you? That one rancid one that you have that you forgot?
It did, actually. It did when you talked about Kaido. My dream is that Kaido comes back at the end for the final war, on the side of Luffy. Like, maybe like Luffy.
Let's get it.
Goes fighting like the big bad boss, and Kaido and maybe Big Mom, like, I don't know, throw her in. They come back and like they stop, I don't know, some random, and maybe Zoro says they do kaiju.
Oh, that's crazy.
I don't know.
Listen. I'm right there with you. I would love for Luffy, like on some Shenron stuff, where he's like riding on top of Kaido, and they're just going up to like the Gorosei or something. I'd be like, oh, let's go. Give me that.
Crazy.
Give me it.
Riding Kaido. So it's like a Rocks pirate, but like a new generation Rocks pirate, but you have him on Kaido.
Right.
And they're still there, not fighting on Luffy's team. But then imagine how powerful, like, the forces of the elders have to be. Like, imagine how crazy that's got to be to happen, where it's like they have to have weapons. Obviously, whatever destroyed Lucia Kingdom, They have to have like Seraphim are all like, overpowered at this point in time. Do you see the Seraphim actually being stronger than their counterparts? So do you see like S Snake being stronger than Boa Hancock, or S Hawk being stronger than Mihawk, or like do you see that happening or no?
I mean, I have no impute direct knowledge about that, so this is just pure theory on
Theory,
my part.
pure theory.
I think the way they were engineered, they wouldn't be engineered and they wouldn't drop the 7 Warlord if the people who engineered them didn't envision them replacing or being better than the previous one. So I think the goal is to make them as strong, but they have been shown to learn, if that makes sense. And I think that's the most important thing. I don't think they're there yet, but at least I think the goal of the people who made them was for them to be stronger at some point. But again, I think right now they're very akin to Born. They make mistake, they can get jumped on by Frankie just on the bubble. So I don't think they're definitely. I mean, at least that's again. I don't know. I don't have a chart saying where they're exactly at, but I don't see them right now being as strong as their counterpart.
Okay, yeah. Because a lot of folks kind of debate if that should be the case or not when it comes to Seraphim, because they're kind of new characters, and them being stronger than the counterparts is kind of crazy a little bit, because these are like legacy characters like Boa Hancock and Jean Bay and a Crocodile, right? So you'd hope that they still be weaker, but at the same time, because they are Lunarians, right? Like they have that DNA, then they should be like just at a baseline. They should be much stronger. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense to where they'll be strong. So like they'll be like end game villains too to deal with. So like, if you have a Kaido and Big Mom return, Seraphim could be the fights. yeah, that's possible. Sure.
I mean, it could be a possibility. I feel like Oda Sensei is doing this thing. Is it true or not? I don't know. But from someone who was, when I was a kid, tried writing a manga and tried writing a story in general. He's doing that thing where he's adding suddenly a lot of new antagonists. And usually this, in writing in general, is a sign that the heroes are too powerful, if that makes sense. Or it's like, logistically...
Fair.
Right now, if like all the character from one side that we have shown went at it, if we didn't add this new antagonist, it would be... I mean, maybe I'm going too far with saying a wipe, but at least from a writer perspective, it feels like he's doing this to add more enemies to fight. If that makes sense.
Because I mean, the crew has gone a pretty long way. The crew right now, in theory, they should be better than Roger's crew, than Rox's crew, because they're gonna get the One Piece. They're gonna get there. Right now.
Yeah. Even right now would be, I would be like, right now?
Yeah. Right.
I don't think I would agree.
In the future, they'll be there for sure.
EOS.
EOS, right? End the series. So, because right now, because we're on Elbaf, and I feel like, with a lot of interest with Shanks, and how Shanks is like one of those, like, if not the massive pillar of Luffy's life, and when you have this focus on Conqueror's Haki, like, you can definitely see Luffy getting whatever we saw with Agate Island. So like Agate Island, the Haki knot, I theorized that maybe we're going to see something similar with Luffy, where he's going to be able to do, like, power down some of these immortals in somehow, some way, and then he's going to be able to actually do damage to them. And then that will go, and then that's going to transfer to Emu at some point in the future, where whatever we're going to see in the final, like, because it's happening soon, the finale of the story. So whatever's going to happen soon with Luffy's Haki growth should be like a major Haki bloom. And I think what we saw in Agate Island will be like that. So like, what do you think about that, for example? Like the whole idea of like Luffy getting much, much stronger because the crew's so strong as it is now, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm just throwing my theories out there. Yeah, sure. So then, so then there are a few scenes for Agate Island. Well, actually, no, maybe there's like a few months of Agate Island left for animation. Do you think you can do more scenes for Agate Island in the future?
I mean,
and then what do you want to do?
I have my schedule, so I know exactly how
You know
much
exactly what you're gonna
of
do. Okay.
yeah. I mean, I would have, went on the record. I think it was with Brago and Sai. I talked about
Okay.
how I would like to make, end of Evangelion, kaiju fight, having like either Giant Luffy
Ooh.
fighting Giant Saturn, or, like just having,
Oh,
like
that'd be
this
awesome.
very big,
Yeah, big kaiju. Yeah, exactly.
this
Yeah.
kind of fight.
Yeah.
I won't be able to do it, which, I'm a bit sad, but,
Okay.
it is how it is.
Mhm.
Sometimes being an animator is doing stuff that you don't necessarily want to do, and you still have to do it. So you probably will see me once more in Egghead. It probably won't be that big of a scene, especially compared to like the Elder scene. I think it will be more
Really?
akin to a smaller scene I did, like maybe you could compare it to the Garp Galaxy Punch I did, like
Oh.
not my biggest scene. I will do my best, but you will see me
Mhm.
maybe once more in Egghead.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Okay. Is
On
that gonna
on
be?
a s on a similar line of thought, is there, because you were talking about scenes that, sometimes not being able to do the scenes that you want to do, since you've been reading One Piece, for a very long time, was there a scene, that, like, you envisioned maybe as a kid, or that you look back on now that you wish you could have animated, like,
Yeah.
from either pre-time skip or before you got on
Yeah.
board?
Yeah.
Was there, like, a scene that you would have
Because
loved to have done?
Because if you can't do, let's say,
Mm.
if you can't do a scene that you want to do now, maybe let's say in the future, the One Piece, the remake, or wherever that's going to happen in the future, maybe you get a chance to be a part of that, and then maybe you can do that then,
Right.
right?
I mean, I cannot say anything about the Wheat One Piece remake. I
Mm,
Mhm.
cannot say
mm.
anything
Mhm.
about that. Like, I don't want to. If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Oh, if I
But
speak,
Right,
I'm in big
right,
trouble. Okay.
right.
but what were we talking about? Who are you guys? I completely forgot what was the
My
discussion.
name is King
Yes,
Recon. That's King of Lightning.
if there is, damn,
Yeah, we were talking
I'm
about
sitting
before.
here with two sovereignty.
That's right. The
Amazing.
sovereigns, bro. The sovereigns, yes.
But if
But
I had to pick,
yeah.
it would definitely be the Luffy versus Lucci. I would die
Ooh.
if we made a remake of either Ennis Lobby or Water 7. Oh, if I could
Ooh.
animate, just human
Whew.
form Lucci versus human form Luffy, or even hybrid form. I don't mind.
Mhm.
I would die
Yeah.
to do this.
That scene was incredible.
Yeah,
When they're
yeah,
fighting each other, like before the water comes in, and they're doing just
Oh,
hands. Yeah, because
yeah.
I can notice now because a lot of choreography, like
mm,
you actually incorporate that a lot into your work, like the hand to hand fight scenes.
Mhm.
Is that because of a
I
lot of the
try.
interesting kind of
Yeah.
yeah?
What do you
Because I'm
mean?
wondering too, because like now I'm starting to understand. Does that come from the work and your love for Naruto? Because
Mm,
Naruto has a lot of that sort of like Sasuke versus Momoshiki and Naruto, or like you have the hand-hand fight scene there, where like that's a very iconic hand fight scene with good choreography. You're trying to do something like similar to say Naruto versus Sasuke, in like I don't know where it would come in. Have like in the future of the story
yes.
probably when like Oda can let's say commit to like let's say finally like the rare
Mm,
several pages of like focusing on a fight. Like okay, you want to incorporate that into a One Piece scene somehow, some way. And then you do a lot of that because like in that scene between Luffy and Rob Lucci, that scene in their base form is a lot of hand to hand fighting. Like it's Lucci dodging
yeah.
in certain ways, be able to like grab Luffy's hands, throw him against the wall, like Luffy trying to bite his face off, all kind of stuff. So am I wrong in saying that? Or like the love for the hand to hand
No,
fight
no,
scenes come from
you're
that? Okay.
you're 100% right. Like like the fight in Naruto were just so good. Like the Kimimaro fight, like a lot of fight in what I really like in the Naruto fight
Hmm?
is that everyone has a win con, if that makes sense. Everyone
Yes.
has, okay, we're
Win
fighting
condition.
this
Yeah.
this yeah, we're fighting this character who's so much stronger than me. How
Mm.
do I fight? Like I'm sure we all think of the but even the Neji fights, the Gara fights, it's always
Yes.
like you see the character think as fighters, and that's something that I fucking love. It's like, okay, I'm not winning that way, so I have to do something else to win. Because like there is no combats where just the character just do the same fighting over and over again. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not the most compelling stuff. But the Naruto versus Sasuke, you see a project a gradation in their fight. Like they start
Yes.
base form, then they start transforming a bit, then they're in full transformation. And the fight is never the same. It always like the character unlock a new capacity or use a new way of fighting,
Right.
and it's just adapting to this, adapting to that. And it's kind of like a discussion between the two characters.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
It is something that I want to do. It is something that I want to do.
It is
for sure.
Because what you mentioned there, I think is like very important, because you do have like a lot of that sort of idea in very prominent things fights. Where like in a lot of these fights, whether it be, let's say, based on a sports anime, like a boxing anime, or let's say a Naruto and Sasuke, like they're talking, they're communicating through the fight itself. It's like you kind of see like in the first Naruto versus Sasuke fight in part 1, where like you see the difference here, how Sasuke fights with his techniques, and then you have Naruto using the clones, where like he has the clones come out of the water, the clones save him, he throws them around. Sasuke unlocks the Sharingan, third Tomoe, and now he's actually more precise. He's able to actually perceive and more technique. So like also like back in the day when he actually mattered, Rock Lee, when Rock Lee had that sort of explosive hand-to-hand fighting style. And then you have Neji's more delicate, more like gentle. Yeah, like but their fighting style tells their history. Though in One Piece, you don't necessarily get that sort of thing. Yeah, you get more like sort of like distinct clashes, and then from there, just do it like whatever you want to do, I suppose, right? But that's why, and okay, listen, I'm gonna push this again, all right? Just hear me out. I feel like you'd be really, really great with a Jinbei and a Sanji scene. This is just me, okay? Now, I'm not trying to like push on any Sanji scenes, but I'm probably one of the few Sanji stans you're gonna see in a minute, or talk to in a minute. But because they're martial artists, I feel like the way Oda kind of forgot about chopper stuff, and that irks you a little bit. I mean, actually, a lot of it. Like, it hurts your soul. He's also forgotten about a lot of scenes about Sanji, too. It's like, there's so many techniques that Oda has forgotten about the Strat crew, and it feels like Oda, well, for whatever reason, whether because the story's too big now, or because his paneling is not as, like, as it used to be, where he focuses, let's say, on a lot of images in one panel. Like, he'll cover so many things in one panel. But I feel like, because you just kind of mentioned how you view like a lot of these fights that you animate, a lot of things you animate, I feel like martial arts like Jinbei and Sanji would be perfect for you, because they're Kenpo practitioners. Yeah, they're like very close to what you see in Naruto. Absolutely, yeah.
More from an animation perspective, I remember when the Senji and from an animation perspective, I love sword fighting. I love actual sword fighting.
Okay.
But from an animation perspective, I'm more drawn to Senji's way of fighting than Zoro's, if that makes sense.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, look at the scene. I was, you know what I mean?
Right.
If my boss say, okay, Vincent, you're gonna do this scene, I just yes, sir. Yes,
sir. I mean, because like, if you, let's say, could do a scene like Sanji when he kicks Venus Juro upcoming, like, would you, or let's say, if you could add the fight scenes afterwards, like, you could incorporate, or let's say in the future when there's a Jinbei fight, like whatever it owes into a Jinbei fight, God knows when, right? But like, you would incorporate his fishman karate techniques, because he has so many. And then you incorporate that understanding of his Kenpo. Or like, you do the same, let's say, with Sanji and his Kenpo. Because you did it with Luffy when he fought against Kizaru, where like Luffy, like when you did your breakdown, you said Luffy can see the future. And so he's kind of like playing, but he's having fun, because he's basically a deity. He's a cartoon deity. So he can do all these hand-to-hand fight stuff because he's trained under Garp for so long. And then Ace and Sabo. And you're incorporating a lot of those smooth movements. And then Kizaru's getting faster and faster trying to keep up with Luffy. And so it's like, that stuff is beautiful, but I just don't know if Well, I mean, I say that, and I don't want to glaze you too much, but the directors also matter, you know? Yeah, like who you have as director.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Damn, dude.
You're
Damn.
100% right. You're
Yeah,
100% right. Yes.
that's really, really cool. Yeah. So then, when you were doing scenes with ReZero, because I don't watch ReZero, but you were doing all those different things too, right? Like you incorporating various scenes that are like hand-to-hand oriented, hand-to-hand based. Because people over there, they liked it a lot. Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about
I was
with
very
Zero?
surprised.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can talk a bit about this. So this is
go
a
ahead.
job I picked up because I have a friend who is working at White Fox Studio, which is the ReZero studio. And
Okay.
he's one of my best friends here in Japan. His name is Amida, and he's absolutely wonderful, wonderful guy. And so that's why I picked that job. What I did for ReZero, because I'm not the most savvy with, I think I watched the first season back when it aired, but it's been quite a bit already.
Yeah.
So what I did is just I read the light novel, and I even think there is like at least 2 different versions of the light novel for this fight. But I just read about what were the theme, for who were the characters, and this theme was very much about how, you know, Garfield is at the end at the limit of his perception, and how he basically almost see nothing. Like we blurred a lot of the background to make it like everything is disappearing around him, and he's just at the limit of his perception, dodging stuff, basically just based on instinct. And that's kind of what, just reading the novel, reading about the character, and being like, okay, if we were in that brawl as a human being, what would we see? If we were thrown into this fight, what would happen to the camera? And basic.
Yeah, so that's like that whole like perspective thing you mentioned before about how like you wanted to try and get a certain perspective whenever you're animating something. Like that's why you have the whole like and like that scene I'm not too familiar with, but I do know a bit about that story because I used to watch it too. But like like the idea of, let's say again, like Luffy Kizaru, that scene of like you have a light speed man versus someone that's a night deity. Yep. Perspectively speaking, it'd be like a battle of like ancient gods, like you see like Greek mythology, or something like that. It'd be something akin to that. How do you how do you go through like that thought process of really trying to dissect like a character in those ways? Because it feels like you do a lot. Maybe other animators do it too, but at least like you break it down in such a way where it's very detailed. It's almost like an essay where you really go about doing something like that. Like why and how?
I mean, I think it comes. So when I was in school, general school, I sucked at math. I was trash at everything. The one class I was good at, I mean the two class I was good at were literacy and I was way better at literacy than philosophy, let's be honest. But these were the two I really had an interest in. My poor King Recon.
Yeah,
he's getting shafted.
Hey,
but
it's 1 a.m. People are having a hard time with their connections right now. Go ahead, continue. Yeah.
Yeah, it is how it is. But the way I do, I remember very precisely when I learned to do, text dissertation, like text analysis, like how you break down the subject, how you address it. And it just kind of stayed with me as a way to analyze stuff generally. And it's also how I end up breaking my scenes in animation. I just go like, first we look at the theme, second we question it, and so forth, and back. Do I even have example here of how I?
Oh, you do.
Basically, it's just me.
Oh, yeah, you keep these things and actually write them down, and actually, so it's like a memory. Oh, okay. If Recon's getting down your side constantly, like Emu's just like flipping around. He's cooked. He's cooked right now. He's shattered. Yeah.
I mean, basically, you see, it's kind of. Will you be able to see it? It might be too dark, but it's basically like
too dark. But
I'm trying.
Yeah, it might be too dark, but it's just a lot of
Yeah, bro, you're cooked. Yeah, you're cooked. You're shattered. Yeah. Okay, so you have like all the work that you're kind of like written down in terms. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's hard to see.
you know,
Oh wait,
notes.
maybe you could like, maybe you could send me like a picture on Twitter or something, and then I can just like show
Oh
the
wow, yeah,
chat.
that is
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Because it's like actually like a pretty like nice breakdown of like how he does like all the because like it's a very unique approach to animation because like, I never thought about like all these even conceive of doing animation in that way. It's like honing the craft of animation to a deeper level than what you see a lot of folks. Well, maybe at least I think it's a deeper level. I think at least.
I would say that's how I was taught animation. So I obviously, you know, everyone has their own way to do things, and I don't want like, oh, animation should be that way.
Right.
Does animation how they want, but that's the way I was taught to do animation. So I just monkey see, monkey do.
No, I mean it definitely works. Especially when you read through your posts about how you do it, like it, because I think there's a lot of people that are trying to figure out, you know, like what they can do to get into animation and then how they should approach it. Like when I think about how, so one of the animators that I'm actually keeping an eye on nowadays is Sora Kawamitsu. I think Sora Kawamitsu. He's the as far as I understand, he's an animator that was studied under Natoshi Shida, and then he has been so like he's learned how to do like his style. So I feel like in the future, like how would you see you doing that? Like how would you like approach a student, and like would you go through that same process of how you learn animation, or do you want to modify that some way?
So here is my thing. I've had a few young animators who have worked with me who sometimes were like, oh, I don't mind being the next Vincent Chansard. But here's the truth. I think
Oh, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot.
I believe I think being called so and so student, being called so and so's next is kind of a curse as an artist. Like
Ooh.
some people might differ. Some people are like, I don't mind being a person. Some people might be like that. Zero issue with that. Zero issue with that.
Okay.
But
sure.
for me, I don't want anyone to be forced to live in my shadow, if that makes sense. I want people to be known for who they are,
Okay.
to be known for what they do, and to develop also stuff that they can 100% call their own, if that makes sense. So I'm very careful when I work with artists to get people who don't necessarily, even if they have things that they like in my work, but I try to get people who are still different from what I do as much as possible, because I don't want to burden someone with my name, as simple as it is.
Okay, because it's kind of like
but I can most certainly see you being like 85 years old and having like a long beard and being like Vincent Sensei
Gandalf
to
over
someone,
here.
you know what I'm saying? So like,
yes, Vincent Sensei. Vincent Sensei.
Can you
yeah.
see that?
Because like what is it like imitation is the greatest form of flattery. It's like people are gonna, because they've already inspired by what you do, right? I mean, you know, I guess avoiding, you know, a lot of dick riders, and then you want people to actually, you know, actually have back and forth with you in terms of you want someone that's different, someone like actually like, you know, someone that's new that wants to do their own thing, help them through those means. But I think that people are automatically going to be gravitating towards what you do because your work is so, like your work is very, very good. Your work is very, very good. I mean, and so, you know, that's undeniable.
Inspiration does work that way. And when you start, your inspiration are very easy to see. When you start, obviously, we're always going to know who you're looking at. It's completely normal. And I don't think, again, I want to, there is nothing wrong with adopting someone's style.
Right.
Like we talked about Soraka, like understand that in the industry, it's absolutely encouraged to have a consistent style, to always do the same thing, to do maybe the same thing as someone else. It's something that's genuinely good for. Yeah, it's very good for you as an animator to do that, and that's why I absolutely, is that something that, my colleagues want, go for it. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to find work consistently. It's a great way to be noticed. So I understand that I have no issue with that. But I personally believe that every artist has the right to be known for what they do specifically, especially in a era, I would say, where uniformization is such a big thing. Like, for example, AI has a tendency of doing it takes a classic work. So I think my belief is that it's very important for artists to be recognized for their own and for what they do uniquely.
I think you're cooking right there, because I think you're cooking because, like, basically, if I'm getting it right, you're saying that, like, you want people to really focus on their own identity as an animator, as a creator. Like, they want to be able to do, and then that identity that they can focus on is gonna help raise them to a new level, help distinguish them in the industry in that kind of way. So yeah, like, you can imitate somebody, but as long as you can have your own identity later on and build your own thing, then that's where it's like, this is my style, this is how I do things, and then for better for worse, this is what I am about. So it's like, you have the animator, the industry person, versus like the artist, right? You can argue in some sense, like, your artistic view of things, right? You can argue that's what you're trying to aim at here and find that. Is that fair in saying, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I try to, again, I'm just one artist, sea of many, and I just trying to find stuff that appeal to me, that work with the stories I'm trying to tell. And ultimately, just like you said, it's one artistic journey. And I think it's good for people to engage in that side of artistry. But again, I'm not trying to shaft people who are like, listen, Vincent, I'm just trying to get my work plain and simple,
right?
Get paid. Like, the word is already enough that I don't want to create unhealthy expectation for artists. There is nothing wrong with just, being a technician, doing things right, trying to have the style of the production. I don't want me looking for my personal past and trying to encourage the people working for their own personal path. I don't want this to be taken as me imposing a way of life and saying that all artists and all animators should abide by that.
Yeah, I like that, because it's I feel like a lot of it too could be like maybe like cultural related, like the Japanese culture of viewing things versus like more of like the Western approach. Obviously, born in France and so on, how you view things. Like, there's probably like that difference there of like, like going under someone's wing versus being your own identity and trying to build your own thing. I can understand that as well. And then, so like, do you feel like you have, when you work for, let's say, non-Japanese companies, do you feel like you have more of that sort of liberty that you wouldn't necessarily get with a Japanese company?
Really depends. Really depends on the company.
Okay.
Really depends on the project.
Okay. Because I feel like there's like a lot of these.
The West. Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, no. Because because there are certain stereotypes about Japanese companies. he's getting Dami reversed like constantly. Yeah, Recon. He's fighting his own war off stream. Okay, like a digital war, like Digimon. He's fighting his own battles, and he's losing constantly. It's crazy. But I mean, in terms of animation and actually getting better as an animator and improving as an animator, and also doing your own work as an animator, I feel like Japanese companies, there's certain stigmas about them about.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
just glad
like,
to be back. I'm just glad to be back.
It's crazy. All I'm trying to say is that there's certain stigmas about Japanese companies about how they run their operations versus what you see in the West or in other countries. I mean, that's all I'm trying to say here, and I want to know like your stance on like if you ever like experienced that difference. But if not, that's fine. Yeah.
So it's very interesting because both have a lot of difference.
Okay.
And indeed, I would say the difference in work condition are very stark. Like, yes, the Japanese animation industry is one of the most difficult animation industry in the world. But at the same time, it's also surprisingly creative.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying every anime is super creative and ready to make
But there's a wide
abstract
variety of
scenes.
content they have. Yeah, there's a lot you can do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where I would say the West is surprising. Again, depend on the studio, depends on the place,
Right.
depend on so many things. But in general, when I'm thinking of friends, that's where I've met the most, how would you say, conservative people on the animation side. Who are like, oh, we are the French touch. Why should we change? Why
Okay.
we've been doing it for years and change it. And you're like,
Okay.
maybe we could try to deviate a bit.
Right.
No, you
Right.
don't think?
Oh.
It depends on many things, but surprisingly, the place I struggled the most to get creative ideas out were in place where people were speaking the same language as me, or had the same,
Oh.
the
Okay.
same native.
Mhm.
I don't know
Not
how
to
to
be
say
the
that in
reverse,
English,
but
but
okay. Okay. That's actually interesting.
Mhm.
That's actually really nice.
I
To find out.
actually had a question. Well, before I got done with reverse it earlier
Mhm.
about the artistic journey
Mm.
that you were talking about earlier, because I found it really fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you have like a sort of like a one piece you're working towards of like your own
I think
treasure,
Sean.
your pirate king
Yeah.
that you're trying to attain for yourself, or are you at this moment just
Oh.
like living it day by day
Yeah.
and just and seeing the roles
So
that come?
Man, they do not want this man to speak. They want to, they want to muzzle him.
every time,
Oh my
man.
lord.
Oh wow! Every time he was on a roll there. He was actually on a great question. He was on a roll. He was cooking.
Yeah.
He was
Oh my
cooking, and then he got
lord.
cooked, dude. Oh
Yes.
my god, Recon, please! I need you to just say whatever you just said again, because you were cooking, and then you got smited
He was cooking.
like it was a Zeus lightning bolt. You just got smited. Please.
Vegapunk's diffusion
I
was
was just
smoother than
Okay,
this
yeah.
one.
So chat. Yeah, okay. So chat's saying, just turn off the camera and see if it's better. So you can at least stay. Yeah.
Oh, just turn it off.
Yeah.
Like
Just
this?
turn it off. Yeah. And then see how you
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So what I was asking, like in regards to the artistic journey, was just like do you have like an end goal that you have in mind? Like whenever you've retired and you're looking back on it, is there something that you would like your legacy to be remembered as, or something that you're working towards every single day that that you're trying to attain as an animator, or just like for your own personal artistic journey?
That's a wonderful question, King Wickham. I actually was talking about this with colleagues yesterday, and I think what I maybe I mean, I'm not saying I'm the only one like this, but something I've noticed is that I don't necessarily have a grand goal. Like I'm very down to just enjoying every scene as they come and being like, I will do
Huh.
better the next scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got very, I guess, inspired by the approach philosophy, which is you search for the truth your entire life, knowing that you probably will never find it. But even though you probably won't find it, you still search for it. And I'm very much,
Right.
the same with my approach of animation. Like I'm probably will never, I mean, at least that's what I was telling myself when I started, but I will probably never be good in it. I would say I'm good. I would say I'm all right. I've always been like, even if I end up random who suck. I just want to try it. I want to understand
Mhm.
why does this cut work? Why is this good? Why is this bad? I'm just very, very curious about animation, and I just want until where I can keep this surge of mine, until where I can go, and I go, and that's pretty much it. But I don't have a image of me wanting to attain a specific goal. Even if I die tomorrow and that's it, that's my legacy, I will be fun. So
Okay.
if I could do,
Fascinating, beautiful.
if I could do a
Yeah, no,
4
it
minutes,
is. It is.
If I could do a 4-minute scene like Norio Matsumoto, I would be.
Hey. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So so it just sounds like, so you really just want, maybe not be like the best animator, but like you kind of want to be the best at whatever you do, and then you just want to like keep on perfecting that, and then do like scenes that people are gonna remember for like a very long time, like the rest of their lives, which is like really admirable. Because sometimes like, people have goals, but then they never get close to their goals, and they kind of like lose their way with like what they're actually good at, like their passions, But it sounds
or what their curiosity is,
right? Exactly.
Like what drives us. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, so that's pretty cool. So then I guess something I want to ask you too is that there is I don't know if it's coming out or not, but there is going to be a sort of like a Naruto, because you're big into Naruto. There's like a Naruto remake that's coming out, and then folks are kind of thinking that there may be like a whole on Naruto full blown remake in the future, like they remake Naruto Part 1 at least. Considering what you do and how you do it, do you think that you would want to try to be a part of that? Like, would you actively try to, like, considering how much you love animating, and then how the certain things you want to animate, and Naruto influences you a lot, do you think that you want to try to be part of that in the future if they do that?
I mean, if they do that, I will definitely try to. I think it would be so, like, here's the thing, it's so hard to live up what was made. I would be, shaking in my boots, thinking, comparing myself to the great masters that have come before me.
Right.
But I would at least try. Even if I fail, I just to say, oh, I tried doing it. Yes, that's definitely something I would be interested to try. Although I feel like if it did come back, and if the work conditions are good, there would be so many animators who would want to get on it.
Right.
I'm not sure I would be the first priority to secure.
Really? Even at your again, not trying to glaze too much. And like you said, you were all right. Humble words, but I think people would be surprised that you're going to be one of the top names that people recognize among animators that want to come back for, like, whether it be a new project that's like, let's say, fight oriented for, let's say, upcoming manga, or let's say be a remake of an old one. Let's say whether it be already Kenshin. I mean, that's already out, but like, let's say they're going to do Pistol Stars that are coming out back anyway. So whatever's going to come out, it's like the fact that you're not trying to, you would think that you would be like among the top names in like the industry to hit up, or at least do you feel like in Japan there's priorities over you, but like folks like abroad kind of think about your name more often, potentially?
I'm not. I don't know, because I'm not one of the person in charge of recruiting. I know for sure that each time a project is made in Japan, I am made aware of it, and I am almost certainly invited to it. But it's like, even then, they invite so many people, you know what I mean? Like, it really depends to whom you're comparing me with. Like, if we're talking about potential new Naruto project, like, what do I do if they call Norio Matsumoto and it goes like, I've got one more in me? You know what I mean? Like, do you think they're going to be like, okay, we're calling Matsumoto? Do you think that's what's going to happen? I don't think so. I don't think that's what's going to
Okay, that's fair. Damn, that's fair.
I think there's enough legendary scenes in Naruto to where you'll be able to sneak in. At the very least.
That's what I'm saying.
At the very least.
I think, for sure. Like, absolutely. Like,
I would try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would try.
Are there any other so we know like you have a One Piece schedule. What about a non-One Piece schedule? Like, are you taking a part in some like there's next year they're gonna have the Paradox doing Bleach again for the finale of the Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. Are you a part of any of that project, or are you like what other projects do you see yourself work? JJK. Oh no, I'm kidding. No, obviously. But like, are there other projects you see yourself in?
Here's the thing: projects that I'm involved with, or not even that I'm directly, but people I'm in discussion with, I cannot say anything,
Gotcha.
about, like if I'm just talking to the people, being like, can we do a scene here? Can we do? I cannot say anything. So like pretty much almost every anime you've, I cannot say anything.
Really? You can't say anything? Damn. Okay, fair. Damn, because I really want that scoop. But I really want that scoop. I ain't lying to you.
Cole, Big News Morgans.
Yeah, big news Cole, big news king, big news king. Here's a scoop. So outside of that, so I guess let me see here. In terms of animation, in terms of projects, I mean, I pretty much covered everything I want to really cover. I mean, you've given us a lot of insight, honestly. Like it's so I guess now I really want to kind of get your take on like the One Piece story, because I really want to know like this final saga so far, okay? Because you've read Naruto, you've been to the grind of it, and Naruto had a final saga that was hella controversial. I'll put it like that, obviously. Yes, hella controversial. But right now with the Chiro Oda and Final Saga, it's like where we are right now, One Piece. Like, how would you gauge Oda's approach to the final saga of One Piece versus how Kishimoto approached the final saga of Naruto? Big question.
That's a good. I am fearful. I think every One Piece fan is the same. I don't think I'm going to surprise you with my answer of that. I am very aware of mangaka who fumble the end of their story. It's something we have seen times and times again, and it's not necessarily the fault of the author per se. I would say that actually in a lot of time it's the publisher who end up messing their mangaka's story. But like I am aware that it's a possibility. I want to believe in Oda Sensei, and I believe in him. I do believe he can. If someone can do it right, it is him. Just like any fan, I am afraid of the possibility that he doesn't. But even if it doesn't,
right?
Like let's say tomorrow the One Piece ending comes out and it's not as good as it deserved to be, I will still be like, just because of all the feelings I've had with this series, just because of everything, how invested I was, it will still be, my favorite manga for sure.
All right.
I feel that wholeheartely.
Do you have any other story that you put up there with One Piece in terms of your favorites, like the ones that have impacted you the most?
That up there with One Piece, like it's like
give me like your top 5.
Damn.
Top
5.
I need top 5.
The Kaido panel. You got to give us your Kaido panel.
I've never thought about that. First is definitely One Piece. Second,
Number
I would
1.
say definitely. Yeah, for sure. Okay. First, One Piece. Second has to be either almost too easy to put in there. So I would put Hunchback of Notre Dame just because I love the social talk into that one, and Victor Hugo was able to make something. Yes,
that's why I'm not see coming.
After that, could be some of Balzac's work. It could be Balzac's work are very small books, but it's something very much impressed me and influenced me and who I was. Like Adieu by Balzac is just such. It's so short, but it really did shock me so much when I read it. And after that, maybe it's again a very short book. Comparing it to One Piece is so difficult because I'm talking about like very very small books, and One Piece is
Right.
gigantic.
Massive. Yeah,
But maybe Pascal Quignard, Tous les matins du monde is another story that I really loved.
I know that
and
is.
after that, sorry, I'm saying a lot of French
Yeah,
names.
yeah. Because listen, my Haitian family would be upset at me that I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know.
You got to study.
But go ahead. No, but go ahead. Somebody knows that. Someone knows. Yeah.
For sure. And the last one would probably be Army of Shadow, which is a movie about the French resistance, and it's just an amazing that I absolutely love.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With that in mind, I'm very, very curious because of course I'm sure I have my story and Cole has his. But why is it that One Piece means so much to you? I mean, I know it's like a big question, but like why is it that it's connected with you and potentially was one of your major inspirations and influences that has led you to this point?
Like what would be like a key moment that like really got you into the story? Like, okay, I'm here and I'm here for life. Like what? Like
the Chopper flashback.
Let's go, baby! Legendary.
So when I read the Chopper flashback, I was what? Again, I think I was around that age, 14, 13, maybe 13. Like I was very much a kid at that time, and I remember annoying my parents.
Yeah.
I have to read this. They were like,
that.
Come on, children, go move on. But yes, I would say why One Piece means so much to me is that I genuinely feel like I grew up as a human being reading One Piece, and the morals of One Piece and the story of it has influenced me so much as a person. So much of what I believe in as roots into Oda's writing. It wouldn't be. Obviously, I have constructed myself through my experience, through other people, through different media,
sure.
but One Piece has very much deeply moved me and transformed me to an extent that no other series story has.
No other series, man. So then, what would you say about like, not necessarily Western, because obviously you're focused on Eastern entertainment, like Japanese entertainment. What do you think about a story, or do you see any of the stories that are, let's say, upcoming or already passed in Japan that could, let's say, maybe rival One Piece one day, if not have rival at some point in time in your life?
I mean, again, it's difficult because as I said before, the reason why influenced me so much is because I read it as I was constructing myself as a human. So you could even say that no series will be able to move me as easily as One Piece did, because it won't arrive at a point in time where I'm still, constructing myself in the same way. But I do wish for a series to do something like One Piece did in the future. And in the past, again, I don't think I have seen even like the big, and I'm not, this is necessarily better than that. It's just me and my personal,
right. Your personal taste,
opinion. Nothing has come close to One Piece. Like it's really not close, because like you might notice it, but in the 5 stories you asked me, there is only one manga. I don't know. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
So it really means that, the difference between the first and the other one is so big. Like there is really like it's first and by a huge margin.
A huge margin. So no other mangas touching One Piece for you.
For me, for my subjective opinion, no.
Oof. Man. I mean, but because I understand that, and I think we all understand in some ways too, because it feels like when One Piece is over, that's such a like a gaping void. It's like I don't even know how you fill that. Like, is it possible to
I've
feel
been thinking about
dude?
that so much. I don't know what's gonna happen, dude.
Because if we're in God Valley now, that means it's gonna be happening. Maybe then, let's say we give Oda like a max 10 years maximum. Okay. Outside of that, we have a lot of these newer shonen stories that are coming out, but they're not hitting the same notes as One Piece was so far. And then Shueisha has kind of relied on, I think, One Piece to be like the backbone of like their magazine for a very long time. Yeah, so it's like, for sure. Are we prepared for the finale of One Piece? Yeah, are we prepared?
I mean, it's internal talks, so I shouldn't say much, but they are very much fearing the looming end of One Piece and what it means for the money side of it, because I mean that's what these people are worried about. It's like
so, I mean, at that point, even for just personally, because I'm right there with you guys, I also grew up with it, and it's like I remember when Naruto ended, it felt like I lost a family member, or like a friend, because I'd been with that series for so long. And I feel like I felt the same thing with Bleach, but with One Piece, it's literally going to be like 2/3 of my life I've been with this thing, and and when it ends, it's going to be crazy. So I don't know, man. That's going to be a wild day.
I think a lot of us were reading it. Like, I mean, you were reading when you were like 13. When you read the Chopper backstory, I was reading during Shibori Archipelago, like in like the mid 2000s. King, when you started Recon, when you started reading One Piece, so we're getting to One Piece.
It was during post Marineford. So like right after all the Marineford stuff was whenever I
so it's like 15 years, 20 years for most of us, or longer. That's like, I mean, that's most of my life. That's most of Vincent's life, most of our life. And it's like, this story has hit so many people. And yeah, you do have, the live action now for One Piece, which is a whole new medium. You do have the remake of the anime of the East Blue Saga. But it's like, when the manga stops, it's like, that's like whoa, like it's over. And I don't know where we go from here as like, not just the community, but like as because this is I think the most selling manga ever, and it is the king. I mean that's also, it's a great question too about Vincent brought up, like where does Jump even go? Because the other stories they're not packing the same firepower as One Piece. They're not.
And it's gonna be just like when Dragon Ball ended. They have to find the next.
I think probably worse. I think it's probably worse. For sure, honestly.
For sure.
Because like you have to, again, if we're speaking about the purely money aspect of things, if we're thinking about One Piece as a company, like One Piece is not just a manga, it's also goods, it's also movies, it's also so many things. When all of that money disappear, like
I mean, and that money's important. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the quality of the product, you need that money. That money is like, that's like the lifeblood of everything. And also, too, like with Shonen Jump, they have more competition now than ever before, because you have competition from Korea and now from China, because now they're coming in with their own stories and their economies, mainly China, massive economies when it comes to their stories. And so it's like, how do you compete with that now that they're coming to the fray? I mean, I think it was already kind of scary when you had a story like To Be Hero X replace One Piece's time slot on television in Japan. And I was like, what? And this is like Chinese show. So it's like, whoa, like what? So it's getting, it's kind of scary.
I mean, I would say it's on this specific subject, when it comes to competition with country, it might be very worker-centered vision, but I actually see this as a very, very good positive, because if we workers have different country when we can work for different possible employers, then it's an incentive for our employers, the people who have the money, to pay us more to keep us.
Yes.
So I actually see this competition I have a very good opinion of what's happening in China and Korea and everywhere.
Because I remember there was actually news that came out a while back that many Japanese animators actually started working for Chinese companies. Because I mean, even on 2 Hero X is like it's an Aniplex and Bilibili uh, uh cooperation, partnership. So so for sure for your work, and you're gonna have a lot of chances here for sure when you can work with, let's say, a Korean company or a Chinese company to do work for them without a damn doubt. But if like there's a good chance that, you know, a story that's gonna come out of China or South Korea, because the great stories obviously, but if One Piece like the apex of all like your stories, I don't even know if it's possible to even hit that in the future. Because when you were 13, it hit your soul. I mean, when I was young, One Piece hit my soul too. Like I mean, just when I go back and I think about, you know, like Luffy watching all of his crew disappear in Shibondi, and then Luffy just crying, looking at Kuma not saying a single damn thing, and he gets sent packing. And these are moments that kind of last you for so long. There are folks that grew up when they were kids, and now they have kids, and they're still watching One Piece. Like, how do you beat that? How do you unless you're Superman or Batman, I don't know how you beat that. Like hello? Like, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like One Piece has become like our Star Wars, right? Where like my dad, like that was Star Wars for him, but that's like several different movies in a whole franchise. Like, this is a single series.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, thank God I don't have to be the one to, you know, solve that problem.
Right. I'm just here to do great work, bro. Oh man,
that's right.
But I'm sure. I think my opinion is very much, you know, the same as everyone. We all hope for a story like this to be born somewhere. It doesn't need to be Japan. It could be in China. Could be in France. I wouldn't be, you know.
Hey, yeah, you of course you would, absolutely.
But you know, anywhere on the world.
Yeah,
it just take one brilliant mind anywhere on the world.
All right, awesome. Oh man, Jesus, wow, One Piece, man. No, we love it. I guess let me see here.
It's alright.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it sounds. Ever heard One Piece? So now. Oh man. Okay, so I guess let me see here. Well, oh yeah. I want to know. I don't think you have you done work on movies. I think you have, but I forget for what One Piece movies.
For what? Yeah, I very briefly. It's also an anecdote. I feel like I've said so many times, but for One Piece Red, two young sir, he sent me a message like, "Oh, Vincent, come work on One Piece Red. There is so much time. We have 6 months to do the scenes." I was like, "Oh, God, why not? Sure." And I had 2 weeks, and I was like, "Whoa.
Oh my goodness!
Who ate the time? Who fucking munched on the time here?" So it was interesting question mark. So yeah, I did on One Piece Red, but it was a bit rushed.
Okay, so nothing. Okay, I mean that's fair, because I feel like nowadays, I think they probably want you to do whatever movie's gonna come up. I don't know if you know or not, because there should be this, like every 3 or 4 years we get a movie. Yeah.
I'm not saying I know if this is not a confirmation, but just again, like, don't read into this like this is me trying to film something, but like, just think as a company, you always want a movie in production. Once 100%. The movie is finished, you always want to start on the next one.
Right.
This is not me confirming saying.
No, for sure.
Think about this as a company.
Yeah.
I know. For me, I'd be in the boardroom looking at Demon Slayer's numbers right now and be like, "What are we doing?
Yeah.
We need a movie ASAP. We need a movie production ASAP."
Like, it's getting ridiculous now, because they're doing what movies, and I think that last movie was actually the most selling animated movie in abroad ever. It's like, brother, like what? Right. Like, Film Red actually did really, really well across the world. Yeah. And I think in Japan it did really well. Like, I think it was like the number 7 all-time movie in Japan. But I mean, see, that's the thing. It's like no offense to Demon Slayer, but Demon Slayer ain't One Piece. Like,
right.
Y'all alright. Like, y'all alright. You know, yeah, okay. But it's like, damn. It's like, you know. So that's what I was wondering, if like there's any. Obviously, can't tell, but would you be down to do like a lot of scenes for a movie? Like it will take away from what you do right now for the anime, but you don't have like one scene or so left per se. So would you see yourself, let's say, being like incorporated into a movie, like for like big scenes, let's say 3 or 4 or 5 minutes even? We have like 7 months to work on it, 8 months to work on it, or something like that. Actual months, not weeks. Actual months.
I can't say anything about that.
He pleads the fifth, yo. That's all we need to hear.
I mean,
does it involve Buggy? That's all I need to know. Is it a Buggy movie? That's all I need to know.
Is it a Chopper movie?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I
is it a Chopper
anything.
movie?
Like, if I speak, I'm in big
Film
trouble.
Pink.
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
No Buster Calls.
Okay.
But let's say hypothetically, in an imaginary world, if I was working for one moose, I'm working in this imaginary world. I'm working for one moose,
Right.
and let's say at some point, you know, the story in one moose is going a bit slower. Hypothetically, there is a world where we imagine if at the same time, for example, one moose is doing a movie, maybe, possibly, there is a world where I could be working one day, potentially, maybe, on the one moose.
Okay.
Maybe, who knows? I don't know.
Fair enough.
Hey,
That's fair.
We believe in alternate realities around here. You know,
Exactly. I'm down for that cause. All right, I want you to know that I know. Alternate dimensions, I'm down for it. Okay, yeah, okay,
right.
Perfect. All right, okay. So I kind of want to go to, because it's been like 2 hours. And so I do want to. There are some fan questions. I don't want to go through, let's say, a lot of them, but there are some fan questions. Some of you guys have to get filtered out. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. Like, you guys are weird. I love you guys, but some of you guys are fucking weird. So let me just go through some of the questions that are like, well, obviously things that have to be like okay with you. So let me know if you can't talk about it now, obviously. And then we'll go from there. So I'm gonna go to Insatiable Hunger over here. It says, so he wants to know if you're in touch with Henry Thurlow, another animator for One Piece. Yeah.
I talked to him. I actually, you know what? I need to go out to eat with him. It's been a long time since I last did. But yeah, Henry's a friend.
All right, awesome. All right. Do you think that do you sometimes work with him on certain projects? Like you and him collaborate to do certain works, to like do things like in the anime? Okay. Awesome.
He has asked me. We have worked together quite a few times. It's always, like sometimes he's like, hey, can you do something? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, you didn't work on that. Did you help working with him with the episode that he directed? The one that he did for Kid and Law with versus Big Mom? Did you help with that?
I did a bit. Yes,
okay.
I did a bit.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's your question. True Seeker, you're weird. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. No mas. Joshua, much love. Hey Vincent, One Punch Man season 3 is coming out. What are your thoughts on it? Christ, bro.
I mean, it's difficult because I have, like all the anime industry talks. Like I talk with animators from other studios, so I have thought about it, but I don't know if you want to. Like
we can go into. I mean, like. Listen, I like One Punch Man a lot. Like, I mean, season 1 it's so good. Season 1 Punch Man is legendary to this day.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. I'm not crazy. Okay, yeah, it's legendary. But
season 1 is so good. It was so good. I really like Murata's and One's writing and drawings.
Yes.
I really do enjoy One Punch Man a lot, which is why season 2.
We're in the same page.
I get
bro.
it. Hey,
okay, I cannot say anything. I
get it.
Calling anyone's word something. I'm not saying anything, but season 2's.
Do you read the manga, or when we had a chance to read the manga? You do? Okay, so then about like the confusion about having Murata go through the latest arc like 3 times over, where he did like the redraws, the first redraws, then did the second redraws, then did the third redraw. It's like, so an arc that started in like 2020, we just finished in 2005, and he redrew the same arc like 4 times. It was brutal. But okay, like, would you ever want to then do Saitama, like, if you could ever get your hands on Saitama versus Garo somehow, some way, like you were in there?
I mean, I would even do something more minor. Like, obviously, if you give me that, I would. Why, yes, please. But I would even do something more.
Bro,
it doesn't even need to be. But it's like there is just, because like I think there was like people talking about me and JC stuff earlier this year, and it's like I cannot invoke myself on a project, I'm not invited in, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot just, Thanos snap and I'm there,
myself.
You know what I mean?
Like, hey, make room for me. Get me in there. Jesus. You guys are ruining the story. Let me take care of it. But then, okay, so what about, does JC staff, do they ever open their doors to like animators like yourself or Henry Thurlow or Chris or like YMBM? Do you guys ever have a chance to even touch anything from Punch Man, or no? Oh my god, dude.
I mean, I feel like the people who know. The answer is yes, but I cannot say much about it.
Do you have any inside sight on season 3 of Punch Man? Anything that you're allowed to say?
But I'm not allowed to say.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, but basically, you're the same camp as most fans, because
yes.
Like, I feel like One Punch Man season 1 was like one of the seasons where you could just put on like a pedestal. It was like amazing. Like,
absolutely.
The risk taking, the directing, everything, the animation, it was godlike. And so just finding out that, like, JC staff, Jump gave them the rights to do that, and that was their choice. But I bad choice.
I think I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
King of Lighting. I think a lot of people blame JC staff, but I think it's a bit more complex. Sometimes it's not about the animation studio. Sometimes it's about the production committees that are on top of everything and who choose.
Oh,
so
fair.
I think, the
Gordos thing.
JC staff,
the elders,
is just a studio that's trying to survive. You know what I mean? Like, again, the Japanese industry is very difficult. JC staff is just a studio with artists who are trying to survive. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, gotcha. And it's very difficult right now. And it's another thing I wanted to say on that. Right now, it's very difficult for them. All the pressure coming from, foreigners, but not just what they see as foreigners, but people on social media harassing the staff. It's very, very difficult for them. And I don't want to be mean about some of my colleagues' work. I think everyone has work conditions that push them to make choices.
Right.
And again, everyone is just trying to survive in this industry.
Right. True. Well, like, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Obviously, because like, as a fan, as someone that can't really be a part of it anyway, it's just sad seeing that, like, what's coming and how phenomenal it is. And I mean, to the point where we even got like we got animated like GIFs in a manga. It's like, hello? And then knowing that what's to come may not be even close to what the manga could do is kind of heartbreaking. Especially when it was already like one of the best stories out there in terms of animation. But yeah, what you say makes a lot of sense. Obviously, because we saw it before with Mappa. Mappa, they, like how they push people. Obviously, you know that. But then I do wonder, how does Netflix work into all this now? Because Netflix is now like a big player in the scene when it comes to like getting production done for certain animated series. Are they like also increasing like the workload exponentially so on a lot of animators and a lot of directors, like Netflix, like these Netflix shows that are coming out? Because they're doing so many Netflix shows right now that are anime shows, and they're clearly tapping into that Japanese market. So like have you been contacted with that? Like, what's going on there? If you have any insight on that.
So a bit of context before that. animes right now make insane benefit. Like the amount of money that varies in anime is insane because it's technically so cheap, creating an anime comparatively to making an Hollywood movie or making even a Disney like
Okay.
in budget it's night and day. It's insane. So the amount of money you create through anime it's genuinely stupid. So that's why you see so many anime being created, because even making an anime that's not very well received can still make you sometime marginally money. So, and that's why there is so many animes being made right now, because right now just the fact of making anime can create money. And as I said before, there are some interesting switcheroos that are being made, favorize some anime rather than others. Like, money is just a game for some people. But again, that's why there are so many animes that are being started by so many platforms, just because it creates money. And so Netflix is just another source of money. I don't have necessarily a very precise opinion on Netflix in the sense that it's just another pocket with money that's creating other animes.
Sure.
You could look at it in a bad light in the sense of there is already not enough animators, the anime industry,
that's the thing.
the shows that are being made.
Yeah.
So you could criticize this. You could say, why continue making more animes when workers are all beyond overworked in this industry.
Yeah.
But I don't have necessarily a very opinion on Netflix. What I've heard is that Netflix has a tendency, contrary to other series, I've heard that they tend to cancel shows. That's something I've heard. Like they would start doing a show and like cancel it.
Yeah. Because there's like a certain budget they have in mind. Then if they can't match a certain budget, or let's say if it's not enough fans, they'll just cut the entire show. I think, let's say other studios in Japan, they'll probably just keep it going because there's a certain fan base for us. Like there's certain like small niche fan base, they'll still keep it going anyway. Because you have the product sales anyway. Yeah. So that does matter. Yeah. Okay, I just want to know your answer on that one because that's interesting. Yeah. Because they're new, maybe not new, but they're doing a lot more than they have past few years, and they're capitalizing on that market. But what you said makes a lot of sense to how like the return on investment for an anime compared to, let's say, actually paying actors on a physical set and getting them there with actual that's gonna be a lot more money. So it makes a lot more things. I think that one K-pop movie that came out, what's it called? Demon Hunters?
Demon Hunters?
Yeah, that probably made them a lot of money. That K-pop movie probably made them stupid bank. Okay, someone wants to know, oh my God. Do the colors of hockey mean anything in the anime?
I mean, it depends on the director. I mean, here is a thing that I would say about the colors. Like, sometimes, I'm like, oh, we do black for the Conqueror, right? And so, like, here it's Conqueror, right? So I draw black. And then the director, is like, no, actually, we're going to use another color. So I'm like...
They just wing it like that? Like, literally? It's like...
I mean, I'm exaggerating. I'm obviously exaggerating. But let's say, as long as it's not, like, if your question is, can we power scale with the anime, I would say trade carefully.
No, I never do, but like some folks do, and then some folks say, okay, well, because let's say Katakuri's hockey has like a blue tone, and then Luffy's hockey has like a reddish tone, that signifies something of importance, or like when they made the hockey change to when Rayleigh pulled up with that red lightning hockey, even though initially it was black hockey, and then Blackbeard has that same red lightning hockey, but then you go back to Wild Country, and then they had gold hockey when they had Conqueror's hockey. It's like, well, like the directors, like, is there no meeting between the directors say, hey, can we just have a standard color of hockey and just be done with it?
So here's the thing, they do, but as I'm not one of the directors, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it is
what's going on in these meetings? They're not doing anything. Oh, come on, bro. They're killing me, man.
The way it works is that directors do the storyboard, and then series directors talk Oda Sensei, who have the juice from the goat. Okay, they check all the storyboards, and they go like, oh, here, we cannot do this here, we should do this here, we do that. But I'm not part of this talk, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
but sometimes they do actually go with Oda to like confirm a thing or two, but it's not all the time, obviously. It's like I remember hearing like when they, so like real quick, I remember hearing when they, like leading up to the Whitebeard versus Roger clash in the Odin flashback, there were rumors that were going around at that point in time that they were talking to Ichiro Oda-san about the about that clash and how it should be done.
Definitely. So this is true, but again, this is the series director limit. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say too much, but to limit, obviously, the amount of information people get. The people who directly are in talk to Oda are very little. Okay,
so that's small. Usually,
unsurprisingly, that's our series director. I think everyone could guess that. It's not me saying, oh, this is Owen. Everyone could guess this. So that's.
Because I'm wondering too. Then is there any confusion on the depiction of what Oda draws himself? Like, for example, a lot of times in the manga, it's kind of confusing to see if a person's using Conqueror's hockey or Armor hockey, because the sparks sometimes are different how Oda draws them. Like Gaban, like when Gaban cut what's his name? He put the Sister Dragon guy. What's his name again? Summers, yeah. So when Gaban cut Summers, folks thought that, oh, okay, well, he has armored hockey because the way he's cutting through him, the sparks aren't as big or as distinct as like when, let's say, Luffy has hockey on his fist and that's like a thick black bolt of hockey. So that's why like, do the directors sometimes get like confused about like, or animators get confused about how, okay, hold on, is that armor hockey? Is that Conqueror's hockey? Because like with, let's say, Blackbeard's bolts against Law, it's like, we don't know if those are, at least in the manga, we have no idea if they're actually Conqueror's hockey or not. We have no idea. They're just bolts. So it's like, well.
So, very interesting question. I just received a message saying that I have to be careful around this topic. But like, let's imagine, let's take a random series. You know what I mean? Like, let's not talk about One Piece for 1 second.
Okay,
let's talk about I don't know, My Little Pony's anime. You know what I mean?
I love it. Let's go.
And you have the mangaka of My Little Pony, right?
Okay.
So like, what's going to happen is that probably the series director of My Little Pony is probably going to consult if there is something that the series director of My Little Pony get.
Okay.
The series director of My Little Pony is probably going to get a call with the My Little Pony mangaka. Probably. Okay. That's probably what's going to happen. Sometimes it happens that it could happen that the My Little Pony anime sometimes might get things wrong. It could happen. It's something that, but if the My Little Pony series got things wrong, they would know instantly because the mangaka of My Little Pony would instantly call them. And so far, I mean, in this potential world,
Yeah, my Little Pony, right.
Mm-hmm.
yes, the My Little Pony on the My Little Pony Spark glitter power.
Yeah.
I don't think the mangaka of My Little have said anything to the My Little Pony anime.
Okay.
In this world, you know, like
In this
I
world,
don't know, I'm not
in this
part.
world,
Right.
My Little
I'm
Pony
the ultimate
glitter
world.
power. Yes,
Yep.
I'm
absolutely.
not part of the My Little
Absolutely.
Pony anime,
Okay.
you know.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah. Listen,
100%.
we understand. Hey, it makes a lot of sense. We don't want the elders coming in hot. No Buster Calls.
right.
We understand. Perfect. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
No summonings.
Yeah, no summonings. Exactly. Okay. So, so we're gonna tread lightly. Then we're gonna tread lightly. All right. Though hold on. So real quick, Reggie wants to know what was Vincent's reactions to Sandworm Howls. What is Sandworm Howls? You know what that is?
Is he talking to the sandworm?
I don't know. I thought maybe that's something you knew. Okay. Okay.
Sandworm house?
Sandworm howls, like a wolf howling. Sandworm howls.
Does it mean the sound design?
Oh, yes, he does. Okay, I think he means the
for the
sound
Doom
like that Jupiter makes whenever he opens his mouth in the anime. That like that that's
Well,
that sound effect. Bro.
We had to talk about the sound design
we did.
to previous statement that has been made.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, we know what Tao Pai Pai has done. We are aware of this. Okay.
Right.
Shots at Tao Pai Pai.
Allegedly,
yes. Okay. Also, Vincent. So Reggie again. Vincent mentioned earlier One Piece was lacking with scenes. Would he like to redo or add on? Could he like to animate a Germa comeback? Okay, interesting.
Germa?
Germa 6.
Germa?
Yeah.
I mean,
Power Rangers?
personally, if I could, yes, can go for it.
Mm.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just saying the Power Rangers. But go ahead.
I mean, listen. I'm getting listen. It's 2 a.m., so I'm getting some weird questions right now. I'm getting some weird because weird people up right now. I'm getting weird people with weird questions. Okay, so I'm just shots to Reggie. Though. Reggie, I appreciate you. All right, yeah, okay. But let me move on then. Let me see here. He says also he'd kill to see you do a 2-minute anime scene between Sanji and Kizaru. I would too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would too. I'd kill for that. That'd be awesome. Or Jupiter. You know, Ethan Venus Juro. Like you know, but hey. I would like to see Vincent. Animate Sukuna versus Yuji. Oh, okay, yeah, fair. But I need questions, chat. Okay, questions. Okay, no. Questions. Okay, here we go. Finally, yeah. Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, chat. Because I know a lot of you guys are just like at 2 a.m. I know you guys are out of it right now. If you guys ever want to have questions with Vincent, I can maybe in the future, because we have to obviously, because some of you guys are just weird, but you can give me some like legitimate questions. So give me some like legitimate questions in the VOD, and then like I'm gonna say like donated, like you know, like the donated questions, do that, like the tipped questions, and then I will in the future bring them to Vincent, and then Vincent will. Like the ones that actually good questions about, you know, how to get into the industry, things about the story of One Piece, things that have note, that actually, you know, valuable questions, not like whatever this is. What is this, bro? True Seeker. Okay, I'm done with you, bro. All right, hold on, here we go. Karn. Okay, here we go. Karn. Question. Do anime studios pay attention to anime YouTubers? Has this ever caused a change in production animation? Do they have favorites?
So that's very interesting. The answer is no, but should I say with the My Little Pony anime?
I was about to say we can use My Little Pony.
The My Little Pony anime team, if it existed, probably would have been told by the company to avoid meddling as much as possible with the My Little Pony content creators, possibly, allegedly.
Okay,
I don't know.
allegedly. Okay, okay, yeah. I mean, there are some things that like with like for like Oda. Oda has his favorite YouTubers. Like he loves Sanada. I reading these One Piece SBSs is ridiculous. He loves Sanada. So you would assume that like anything direct we never know per se. At least we'll never know over here. But allegedly, we'll go from there. Allegedly. And then I think this is Swaggin wants to know, what do you think about Kaido tanking Zebek's kick? I think he's memeing. Because he's a Kaido fan too, so he's a big Kaido fan. So.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Listen, he had if you came late here, Vince had a theory that Kaido and Big Mom will come back in the future, actually be allies with Luffy and company, and assist with the final war or something like that, which would be kind of cool. Like Luffy riding on top of kind of like Shenron, like Goku. That'd be kind of fire. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
No, I'm telling you, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. And I think so here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna sift through. I'm gonna get to the weird questions, obviously, because they're weird. We don't need that. I don't want any Buster calls coming to my house. So
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what we'll do is that in the future for this VOD, you guys can just respond to Vincent Chansard in the comment section for any sort of donations, and then we'll do it that way. I think it makes the most sense, and it's the cleanest way to do things. Though, hold on. There is one thing though. Ice Fezza wants to ask you a question about AI. He's asking you about, have you ever seen the new Sora 2 generated anime scenes, and how does it feel about using AI as a tool in the future for your work?
So here's the thing, like there is already an animation tool that's extremely convenient that allows you to animate very fast and do many things that's
really
to the animation, and it's called 3D animation.
3D animation.
I don't use it. So it's really like, it's just about people's process, and me, it's just faster to just draw a rough than enter a prompt. You know what I mean? It's just why fight with a machine when I can have
right
in school. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you have a skill, use it. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's like you have that sort of like muscle memory that you've trained for a long time, and so like how to work with that faster than like actually putting it into a prompt. But I guess then, do you see, because AI is not going anywhere. I think AI is getting more and more prominent as like time goes on. That's the way it feels, at least. Do you think that you'll see more people actually trying to incorporate AI into like animated works in the future, even in Japan? Do you see that being possible?
I mean, it's a very difficult discussion, because there are so many things to talk. Like, what AI are we talking about? Because like, if we're just talking about AI as a generic stuff, we already have a kind of AI in our animation software. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like, what kind of AI are we talking about? For which application are we talking about? If we're talking about generative AI, which already is kind of like, I think, a term that doesn't entirely fit perfectly to what it does. Like, at the moment, there is nothing that I feel like is worth putting into animation. Like, there is no need. Like, we already know how to do animation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
But it's like we're not. Sorry, give me 1 second.
No. So
I let you.
I was gonna like give like an example, trying to like hone it in. So like, for example, like there are the ideas where like you have like a large scale battle, and you have many different characters, like thousands of characters on the screen. Let's say an example could be some of those background characters that are fighting in the background could be like generated AI characters. Let's say instead of CG like characters that look very awkward and bulky. Like, for example, there's a story that I read called Kingdom. I love Kingdom. Kingdom has a great anime. Kingdom has an anime where a lot of the characters, so you have these huge armies that are also part of these scenes, but the characters, most of them are 3D generated characters, and they look very, very bulky. They're not really oriented that well. And you would say, okay, maybe AI in the future could, let's say, take the role of, let's say, just the 3D models that they use in animes now, and then it can actually generate military men that's like ancient Chinese themed in the background, so it looks more appealing than, let's say, just the 3D CG characters that they use as it is. Some of that sort. Like, is that so? Like, not like, work that would be too intrusive, but it'd be like more background work. That's the idea, I guess you can argue.
Well, that's where I will tell you why not just 2D animation in the back. You know what I mean? Why not use the animation? Tell me, oh, but it would be, and that's in very big quotation marks. It would be cheaper to do it with AI, but then you would get shitty AI. You know what I mean? If your goal is to cut corner, you're just not gonna. No matter if you use
no matter if it's
2D,
gonna be issue,
no matter if you use 2D animation or if you do AI.
Right.
If your goal is to cut corner, no matter what you use, you won't get something good. So I would say just make it good. Just put in the money, get some good 2D animators, and do it well. Like,
so basically, it's a skill issue. Okay, yeah, it's a skill issue. Yeah, I understand that for sure. That's great. All right, but that's the question. Yeah. Okay. Omega Studios, much of the donation. He says this question: what is Vincent's thoughts on? Do you watch To Be Hero X or no?
I've watched a bit. I need to catch up.
Okay, because he wanted to know your thoughts about Well, I guess this will spoil you. So, do you care about spoilers like that? I'm pretty sure you do.
No.
Really?
I don't. What's important to me is the way the story is told, rather than just the story. Like if you tell me the punchline of a joke in a flat way, I will be like, what matters to me is the way it's told, if that makes sense.
Right.
So if I watch the anime, even if I know.
Okay. Yeah, I just have to make sure, because if I spoil you, I'm gonna have pitchforks and torches on my doorstep. So I just make sure. Okay, yeah. All right. So chat clean.
Longer.
Okay? Yeah, exactly. So chat clean. Okay. So he wants to know, what are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts as an animator on X's powers being able to change the animation from 2D to 3 to CGI? As a theory, season 2 X is going to turn the show into a live action. That's what he says there. So
that'd be insane.
Yeah. So he wants to know your thoughts on that, if you have any, honestly.
Yeah, no, creatively, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It also means you're paying many different artists, paying 2D animators, but you're also paying CG animators to do something good. So no, I see that in a very, very positive way.
More work,
every time,
like, more money.
Yeah, more creators. It's always good to see creators, no matter in what field, try stuff and experiment a bit, because it's always mean more heavy scenes. It's always a positive. So no, I see it in the
because it feels like his powers are literally tied to the animators himself. Like, we joke sometimes, but like we say that he is essentially he's an animator. He's an animator, but he's a character in the story. And he's just powerful as hell. He's busted. But question on my own though, do you think that because the budget for a lot of these Chinese shows it's got to be high. I mean, there's no way to say it. It's got to be like stupidly high. Like, I mean, when I look at To Be Hero X, when I look at Lord of Mysteries, I didn't know that was even possible to make animation like that. I'm like, how is this even like? This is insane. It's better than Demon Slayer. I was like, whoa. So I'm wondering, like, how, when you hear about, let's say, some animators in Japan moving over to China to do work in China, that budget, is it like substantially more? Do you know off the top of your head?
I know from whatever, I know that at the moment, for now, the budget is not as much as where it could be. I hope Chinese animators, despite of doing like what's happening right now, truly very artistically interesting. There is so many interesting creators there. I hope they can secure bigger and bigger budget, which is going to create even more of an incentive for foreign animators to envision working with them, which is also going to raise up the overall price of us, of workers in entire. So I from whatever right now, it's still not that great, but it's getting better and better, because like the production are getting more and more
Yes.
I'm very confident that Chinese animators reevaluate even in the future.
Okay. Oh yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, because it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the market for that is getting a lot better. So, and obviously, when you have that market, when everyone's kind of like struggling up and down, it is going to push the studios in Japan to hopefully perform better, to actually focus on more quality, try and compete, because you have to compete. We're all fighting for the same eyeballs, right? Like the eyeballs that you see for the Japanese audience, also for the Chinese audience, for all these things, the Korean audience too, when they start doing things as well, when some making moves,
Right.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Blaze wants to know: are you a fan of Kozuki Moria? Oh my God, bro.
My God, I don't hate Moria. I don't. I'm surprised by this, even
Yeah.
though some people like Uderon have been talking about correlation for years. I'm surprised about it, but
Oh.
I'm like, depends what you're gonna do with it. You know what I mean? If you do
Right,
nothing
exactly.
about it,
Right,
I'm gonna
exactly.
be like, okay.
What's the payoff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm,
Exactly. Oh my God. So first of all, we have Chartard, lovely. He wants to know: would you work on a One Piece video game?
Sure. It depends on it depends on many things, but on the principle, I have nothing against it.
Perfect. And then the last one, for the time being, last non-weird question, I think, is Swag wants to know: CGI Dragon Kaido or CGI full Zoan Marcus Mars?
I mean, the CGI Kaido was it was something, man. I feel like it would be very hard to get to this level. So
CGI Kaido, that was crazy. Oh God, what a time!
despite how should I say despite my love for Kaido, I CGI Kaido is not my goat. I don't recognize CGI Kaido as my true king.
Yeah. No, that's not the king. Yeah, Chad, if you want to know, CGI Kaido essentially is when Luffy went to Gear 5, there were some scenes where Kaido's full blown CG, like he's out of a Dreamcast console or something, and he looks horrific. Like the scales, his face looks haunting. So it wasn't, the best decision, I think. Especially when you have like the monumentous like Gear 5 transformation, like Luffy's changing the paradigm, and then you have a CG Kaido fighting him. It's like, oof, this is kind of icky right there. But yeah, someone wants to know when Usopp will get Conqueror's Hockey. I want Chansard on it. Okay, he wants. Yes. Okay. Honestly, I like that too.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down.
Not against it. I'm not against
That'd be
it.
awesome.
Okay. So I think we're 3 hours deep. I know people in chat are doing weird stuff, so I want to, and then you're getting some calls, so I don't want to go any further and pry any further. I guess any final thoughts, Recon, to Vincent before you head out?
I guess my last question would be, how do you feel you've evolved as an animator here in your time here doing anime? Is there like a measurement that you've seen that you've been able to evolve, whether it's overall or like in a certain area? Is there like a certain way that you've seen that you've progressed and or evolved as an animator in the industry?
Asking the good questions, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good. I'm not entirely.
Wait, can you move me closer? Wait, hold on. Wait, can you move me closer? Because you were cutting off.
Of course. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No. You're
like, get real close. Yeah.
When I go pee, right? Time to go back to. But yeah, no, I would definitely say I've of course gotten better on the aspect of animation, which is checking curve, making sure your spacing, your timing is right. I feel like I've got better finding lapses is the right way to do it and do it in a more effective and over way. I've also gotten more comfortable with my way to approach animation as an art and fighting again lapsus finding a creative way to approach animation, finding new medium, new tools to tell a story and tell the story that One Piece is telling. And I've also gotten fairly better at not directing, but the directing side of animation, which is when you start animation, you tend to how should I present it? But we talk about over description, like over describing a movement, like trying to just showing the movement rather than a metaphor, if I can say.
I see what you're saying.
And I feel like I've gotten better at not just making a motion to make a motion, but really finding again creative ways to make a character or something move in order to create a feeling or create an overall energy into the audience. But again, I still have a long way to go, and I want to experimenting and try new way to approach stuff. So
I think that
that's
I think
awesome.
we kind of that's for sure really cool, because I think we kind of can see that with the way you've tackled a lot of your very long details, your breakdowns, how you do certain scenes. Like you kind of like have like, because I remember in the earlier scenes you never really did that, but then you started to do that more and more with your long breakdowns. You kind of see like your formative thought process in that, and I think that's like your way of kind of like putting your thoughts out there about how you kind of see a scene. And it's actually really nice seeing how you break down scenes and how things improve over the course of time with your animation. So like honestly, like I think it's really cool to just kind of see like how you go about things like that. I think it's really cool.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right.
And then other than that, thank you for your time, man. This was
awesome. Yeah, thank you for the time. Yeah, thank you for the 3 hours. Yeah, absolutely. I think people watching the VOD are also gonna be having questions too. But I think people here, 3 a.m. Appreciate you guys coming this late for sure. Chat, thanks to you across the board, obviously. This VOD's gonna stay up. It's gonna stay up. I'm not gonna, it is what is there. But again, for anyone that wants, so people are watching the VOD, if you want any questions from Vincent Chansard in the future when he has time, he's a busy man, obviously. But you can write me some questions, and then I will get down to preferably those that stick out via tips. Those questions, right, on YouTube, exactly. This ain't a free show. Well, it is a free show, but you know what I mean, okay? So if you want your questions, exactly. If you want your questions to be viewed, you can do a tip in the comment section, and then I will get to you as soon as I can. But make it a good question, not something. I'm looking at you, Truth. Make it a good question, not something weird and freaky. Okay? All right. Appreciate it. So everyone, thank you. Vincent Chansard, of course, thank you for your time. All right, always been a pleasure. And we're gonna see you guys in the future. So looking forward to that Sanji and Shanks animation scene, no doubt. All right. Yes, all right, man. All right, chats. Take care. Stay safe. Have a nice night. Have a nice morning wherever you are in the world. Until next time, have a nice one. Recon? Sayonara?
There you go.
All right.
Hey,
and also,
chat. All love chat. I apologize. I apologize to the chat and to both Vincent and Cole. I was trying to have the camera on, but I got done with reverse seed like 7 times. Yeah. So, but on a serious note, this is a lot of fun. Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to the follow up.
All right, awesome. Okay, so everyone, take care, stay safe. Till next time, have a nice one.